Futures back to the upside here a little bit right now as we get going on a Friday morning. Happy Fed Chair Day. New Fed Chair announced this morning on True Social by U.S. President Trump. Kevin Warsh getting the nod in favor of the position. We'll dig into that coming up. It's worth noting we do have some inflation data coming up this morning as well that could lead a little bit of a market bounce back, possibly. PPI for December coming up at 8:30. The year-over-year number, 3% expected. That's a downtick versus what happened in the prior print. So we'll bring that to you live when it does happen. So on the day we get a new Fed chair, we also get Fed fund futures already pricing in more than 2 rate cuts before the end of the year. As of this announcement this morning, yields are higher across the board, especially the long end of the curve, both the 10-year and the 30-year back to the upside, dollar back to the upside as well. A lot to dissect here. And oh yeah, Apple reported, if anyone missed that after the close. We're down this morning though, just absolutely amazing numbers right across the board for Apple. Negative here this morning.
A lot of concerns about memory and chips in the near term. Can't get enough of it, as we've seen SanDisk, Micron all rocketing up as a result of that. But that's going to hurt somebody. That's going to hurt the companies that need these products. Apple is one of those companies. In addition, more concerns about AI and the rollout of that. Good numbers mostly for the iPhone. Some weakness in, I think, Mac sales wasn't great. Wearables weren't great. But we're looking for product cycle refreshes this year. So I expect the accessories and whatever to pick up a little bit this year. But Tesla?
I know.
What is going on over here?
A little volatile,
yeah.
Not only yesterday, but after the close as well. We'll dig into that coming up. But you mentioned this one, SNDK, just a monster here this morning. We brought this to you as it came out last night. Really wasn't even a downtick on the numbers. Straight through to 600. We're set to open here above 650, 660 even possible this morning for SanDisk on this memory idea. You mentioned a couple days ago the rumors that have been floating around about these new AirPods.
Yep.
And the fact that they're maybe kicking the tires on the idea of putting cameras into the actual headphones.
Yep.
It almost seems like they need that, lead the way for once with that concept.
Exactly.
On the hardware side of things, which has been their bread and butter.
And we know they're not pursuing the glasses form factor because we would have heard something would have leaked. What did leak were the AirPods. And it kind of works into a product they already have, Brendo. A lot of concerns. I was talking about this on the midday yesterday. People were like, well, what's the battery situation going to be like on these AirPods? Because the battery is obviously going to use, the cameras are going to use a lot more batteries, what I'm trying to say. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, very, very speculative. But Tim Cook on the call basically talked about a premium device rollout in 2026, whether it's the foldable or the new I believe, what's it called? Which one am I talking about here? It's slipping my mind. But anyway, it's going to be a premium device rollout this year. And I expect more higher margins for those, whether or not the consumer likes that or not.
I mean, there's a couple of manufacturers that have already gone to the tri-fold, the tablet basically in your pocket idea. So whether that'll be the case or not, we'll see. So yeah, Apple, I mean, not really doing a heck of a lot here. We had a nice move after the close higher initially. We give all that back. They weren't really impressed at all with what Tim Cook was saying on the call. So basically right here where we were yesterday as of this morning for Apple. Again, the headlines mostly focusing on this Fed chair story this morning. Again, Kevin Warsh getting the call. This is the guy that has been openly criticizing the policy since the end of COVID, calling for more cuts. As I said, Fed fund futures already pricing in a 3rd cut here before the end.
And we're selling off quite aggressively on that. He's looking at kind of changing the way that the Fed works. He's calling for, in his words, regime change, arguing incumbents kind of suffer from a lack of credibility, saying it's become too politicized. We'll have to wait and see. But, I think that the concern here in the morning, at least, is Fed independence, whether or not we kind of see something different from him down the line once he does assume power. I mean, we've got to wait till May for that, or maybe possibly comments that he makes between now and then. So should be interesting. And also the precious metals really reacting to it this morning.
You read my mind. Here's silver downside once again this morning, or SLV anyways, downside in a pretty big way this morning. Absolutely plunged out of the gate yesterday morning. We'll see if this sell-off continues. Looks like it's going to for both gold and silver to start things off this morning. The simple concept that, this is Kevin Warsh. This is a guy who has openly said we need more cuts, we need more cuts, we need more cuts faster. Market selling off on that. Yields are higher, dollars higher on that, signaling market's a little nervous here about inflation.
100%. I mean, like, look at the current status of kind of how the Fed's operated since inception. It has been an independent body. Whether or not you want to make political arguments, that maybe they sway one way or another at certain times, it hasn't been this out in the open where the current administration influences or appoints someone who's going. Yeah, exactly. So I think we're going to have to wait and see what he says between now and then. That'll give the market either concern or stability.
Here we are at the end of January, so a couple months to go. That's it. February, March, April, and then that's going to be it for Fed Chair Powell, guys. Kevin Warsh, the new Fed Chair.
Yeah. Good morning, everybody. And
people saying get your stuff in the washing machine.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be lots of
good pun.
Put the rates in there and get it all. Washed.
Randy,
you like that one, Randy?
Already hooked up.
There we go.
It's bacon, man.
Bacon, man. What? No bananas again?
No bananas.
No bananas. Get that man a mic.
These things are sad.
I didn't even have. Oh, here's mine from yesterday.
No, but like Warsh, first of all, Powell already. We had like the most boring market reaction to like the Fed day and Powell not really answering any of the stuff, and he wasn't going to, that people were wanted to hear. So, it's already been forward thinking. But I understand this is a big deal, but for today, it's going to be about this memory story and the metals, and then Tesla. There's other stuff going on too. Don't get me wrong. The Deckers had a great quarter. Apple, I'd say obviously disappointing price action for them. But SanDisk just ripping faces off is a big story here. And it's without Western Digital as well. Western Digital reported, and they're not doing anything. SanDisk absolutely blew it out of the water on their earnings. And then you look at it to the other side of the equation at what's going on. Ooh, yeah, thank you, Dark Pool Wicks.
Yeah, it went up to 101. I saw. Yeah. I had the same
on silver, down 14. SLV down 14%, and threatening actually to take some lows right now. But some things that are parabolic. You have two stories that are absolutely parabolic, and that's been the metals, and then of course like the SanDisks and the Microns of the world. And now you have opposite directions that they're going. So volatility in these names might be huge. Whereas I look over like at Apple that reported, and I'm not sure it does much today. It's a weird one. Like I'm not sure it ends up being a trade. Like it's right back to where we were in yesterday's trade, just the 1% range in yesterday's trade, and I could actually see it maybe not breaking out of that today.
Yeah, it surprised me. It was only up 3% or something yesterday. It's funny. I don't have this thing set up, but I do now. But I have to show it on here. This is really funny. This is not going to stop. Options in the deep. I laughed when I read this. Yeah, my silver calls are getting washed down the drain. And I mean, that's part of what's going to be happening right now. Is Brendan already mentioned rates, dollar moving on this news as well. SoFi moving on earnings. And we always like it when stocks move on things that they do for themselves. And SoFi up 6%. So you're not going to get the smile off my face. It's nice to see it upside today. I mean, obviously it's still hit from its highs of $32. But SoFi up 6%. I think that sort of hopefully quells some of the nervous hands on SoFi. But what I wrote down on my note here, I still like the long. I'm going to try to go long 20. The 60 note's almost out actually. $25. I like that level. Just it's a nice easy level. There's nothing really too scientific or technical about this one. If it comes back in, it's a 200 period moving average. We'll see if it can sort of hold $25. But we're going to wait. It's an earnings call, so we're not sure exactly of the price levels. But what I wrote down too is, and Neil knows this, and we all know this, is that the bank stocks, unfortunately, regardless of what they seem to report, tends to go down on earnings day. So we'll wait. Like JP Morgan had a great day downside. The banks that actually held out pretty good were Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. But banks have been getting hit. So we'll have to watch out for SoFi there today. And then was that a great buying opportunity? I don't know. The lowest levels, the biggest drawdown in one day for Microsoft in 7 years yesterday was down 10+% at its lowest point. And they had quite the battle back yesterday from this 420, basically. I mean, if you're able to get long at 422 somehow, that was amazing. Came back in again around 2 o'clock and then ripped into the close on that OpenAI sort of new funding deal there. and the market rallied back end. You know, we were down almost 2.5% yesterday on the Nasdaq. Talk about a dip by opportunity there as well in the index. So, yeah, look, lots to talk about. We already mentioned SNDK. You just looked at silver. Gold also down 4 or 5%, I think it was. Is it down worse now? Hold on a second. When I checked this about a half hour ago, to be honest with you. Gold, yeah, okay, down 6% right there. Yeah, so it was 470 when we checked. Now it's 465, going lower. I think it's time to buy a little bit of gold too if you haven't gone into it. You know, let it settle down maybe with this new appointment of, well, it's a nomination. He hasn't been appointed yet. I wonder how that all works. I mean, I guess is it he nominates, but then who appoints?
Yeah,
the Senate has to approve it?
It's one of those weird things where, like, the president
is there a chance he
doesn't technically have the power to dictate who the next Fed chair is, but no one's going against the recommendation. It's one of those, it's not going to happen, it's going to be him, but technically speaking, like, there's a path that it couldn't be.
That's interesting.
I can't think of a time I don't think that's happened, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's like, that's it. It's
just
Kevin Warsh, but it's like, well, it's just a nomination for now. But
kind of like one of those.
Anyways, May is coming faster than we can even imagine, man. Like, this is the last trading day in January. I can't even believe we were just popping bottles for New Year's Eve and Christmas and the 550,000 subscribers, and now it's like, what the hell? It's like we're into February already, man. I was going to say you're 2 weeks away from Valentine's, 1 week from Super Bowl. Yeah, man. It's,
the Senior Bowl, that's what, I saw an article in my feed. It's like, oh, yes, so-and-so is blowing up in the Senior Bowl. I'm like, what? The Senior Bowl?
That's already happened,
right.
Yeah, because
they're already thinking about the NFL draft. People thinking about spring training, but we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. We got a day to trade today. We'll have Michael come on through. So
I like the Tesla merger talk.
Yeah, you know what, that SpaceX. I think.
I just realized I'm in Vermont on Elon's birthday, so we better not IPO SpaceX on that day. Or else
well, if they merge, then there's no IPO.
Yeah, I hope they merge. That rumor of the merging there and that talk makes me want to just, I was saying
it's pretty bullish in Tesla.
I just want to buy Tesla like crazy.
Because DXYZ is a joke, sorry, I shouldn't say it's a joke. DXYZ is a poor representation for exposure in capital markets right now to SpaceX because it's ridiculous. But Tesla would become your vehicle to exposure. Straight up.
They merge together. I mean, that's crazy. Like, you know, what's it going to be? Like every one share you own for Tesla, you get a certain amount of SpaceX or something like that. Like that's we don't know any details on that yet, but I really do think that that's going to be an interesting call. So I have Tesla on the watch today as well. So yeah, lots of interesting topics. And then Apple, thanks again. Yesterday we had a great after show. I mean, it's we've only done 2 or 3 of them or whatever with this new system and format of ours, and it's going great. So make sure you guys do join us next week. I mean, we're going to have Google next week. There's going to be some big, or Alphabet, I should say, some big opportunities next week for that show as well. But yeah, Apple didn't really get too far going yesterday after hours. So we got up to 260 and change. The report comes at 4:30, so this doesn't show it enough. But there's 264, 268, crazy print right off the open. But yeah, just sort of languishing down here flat on the day. So yeah, maybe we trade Apple, but we don't worry about it. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about right now. We'll watch to see what levels come up on Apple, but don't have like a huge opinion immediately here on a.
You know what?
Did SMCI just rip up? I'm trying to short SMCI.
No, it's still.
No, it went to $30. It was just at 29. I was like, oh, this is real, this move up here.
These dark pool wicks, man.
Yeah, but this is not a dark pool wick. That's the problem. It just actually went upside there. So
you're not going to believe what just hit yesterday's highs.
Oh, my God.
Feed is up. Apparently you can't stop this thing. Feed is going again. This is absolutely insane. This is now 3 days in a row. Early morning breakout still has to get through $5. And if you're tuning in for the first time ever, then you basically all week long we've been mentioning the stock, and then it just kind of goes ham. I don't even know the best way to explain how strong this move is after successive afternoon pullbacks. Like every day, it's made its high in the middle of the day and pulled back to close at the lowest point that it had been in the afternoon, and yet it still goes breakout, and then sell off, and then pulls back into support, and then still goes. So I think the $5 level is going to be a big one there for NView here. Unbelievable run here for Feed. Yeah, don't say the small cappers abound as well. So like, there's a lot to watch for the small cap traders out there. You probably have a lot of maybe some gold and silver mining stocks you'd be looking at, but don't sleep on. Yeah, and there we are, like Enview once again. That's why he's 2 million shares in volume. Yeah, the stock's been a beast.
What a monster. TCGL also there, Sharif.
Oh, that thing.
Were you able to get into that feed yesterday, Sharif? I heard you talking obviously a lot about it in the midday.
Katina, man, I mean, it was barely open. It would be halted for over an hour. I mean, but shout out to KC526 who held this Sean from 10 some odd dollars yesterday into, I think, 70 or 120 or something like that. So good on her. But I mean, Brendo, I mean, how are you supposed to trade these things when they're open maybe for 5 minutes every hour? It's not for my style anymore. No, I have to look at it.
What price did you just say you remembered it at?
It was in at 10, I think, dollars.
$10?
10 and change, Katina, man. That is insane. So this ran in the aftermarket yesterday.
Yeah, it's just 210. It's just 210 right now. It's 207 and change. You know, I mean, that's all. That's all. I mean, it closes yesterday, Sharif, you know, $50. Not bad. You know, put 4 times on it right there to the upside right now. So shout out to KC or whoever you're mentioning there in the chat, because if someone still has this one, they are killing it. Okay, we could talk about a super chat right now.
We got
ONDS and Barrick Gold. I think they want to talk about. That's what symbol B is, right? Is that Barrick?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could. Oh, there it is. Okay. So what's up, Mr. Burheit? Is that right?
Burheit.
Good morning, guys. You take a look at, okay, well, ONDS has been a runner. We've looked at that for a long time. Maybe we can, I have to look into ONDS and figure out what that move's all about. But as far as Barrick Gold is concerned, yeah, I mean, I already said today on a move down that I was thinking about looking at gold again. You know, with the monetary policy, Kevin Warsh apparently is supposed to be pretty hawkish, but we did hear about all he wants to do is interest rate cuts. So, you know, what's that going to do to the monetary system at some point? I think you want to keep with the flight to gold, and I think if you're in it for the long term, you're going to be okay. But obviously, forget about what's happened up here. Just look from here. This from May is $17, right? So you're going to be paying a premium if you're trying to buy some up here, but you still have the 50-period moving average. I don't want to be the one that says, like, you know, let this thing fall down, because it may not. So I think that if you're going to buy some Barrick Gold shares or any gold, like what I was going to do today is just like, if I want to put in $100, I'll put 25 in today, you know, or whatever that math, 25% of your position today as you approach that 50-period moving average, and then you go the other way. If it comes down lower, then you start to buy a little bit more. And I like Barrick Gold, obviously a dividend as well associated with them, so you get some exposure on gold itself, the physical. Obviously, you see the way the chart's going, and then you get the fact that it's a miner. And I believe Barrick's also into some copper, but you might want to look that one up. And then ONDS, I don't know, Neil, what you think about this, but this is...
the entire group has been pulling back.
That's what it is, yeah.
Yeah, like I think when you're looking at sort of these ancillary drone defense type plays, software, like all of this group has been in the midst of a pullback. I think what's at least good about ONDS, you still have a pretty decent short float, so, and it's pretty popular in terms of momentum online. But this dip is holding prior highs for now. Kind of a big day for it, because it's not crazy that even if it took another leg down to really test into the high 9s and 10s, that would be reasonable. That'd be holding that 50 period for another bounce. But see how every time it's got a little bit of a pop, you get these like wick tops and the rejections. So the selling has been in control. Like, there's no sign that that's abated yet. So you're getting close to that support, $10, $11. But if you just notice, there's not much consolidation up here. It's like every time you see strength, it's like the level that it gets to is completely reverted, and that becomes a lower high. You get some strength, and then it gets reverted, and then that level becomes a lower high. You see what I mean by that? Just gives you a sign that the sellers are still in control, because whenever there is strength where you can bounce to, you're not breaking away from. So that's kind of the pattern that you need to have broken here, where you get a base, you get a bit of a bid, and then one of those prior levels that it turns around, it double tops and breaks through. And then the momentum's with you, and then the shorts start thinking about covering. So ONDS, it's a momentum stock, so you have to consider it that way. And the other thing you should probably pay attention to for names like this, and probably a lot of the metals and the miners, would be the options flow, especially on a Friday. And that's why we're going to Joe.
All right, guys, good morning and happy Friday. Once again, we got a lot of activity in earnings season in the world of derivatives. So let's take a look at what we got going on here in AAPL. Yes, guys, reporting yesterday after the bell at that $270 mark. You can see that we pushed right off of that report in that earning 5-minute candle. We run into that 270 level and then we start to come back in. Now, as for the volume sitting around 32,800 contracts open and closed at that specific level, open interest still sitting around 24,200. Bid and ask relatively wide here for Apple. You're looking at approximately $9 there, guys. Once again, expiring today. Delta, considering it is a far out of the money contract, relatively cool. And the same thing with your Gamma. Now, at the money IV, Brent from Spot Gamma talking a lot about this, guys. Really, really high, 107.2%. Wait for that to cool down. You can also sell the volatility decay. Moving on. Let's take a look at JPM, the banking sector being one of the stronger ones yesterday, and that is going to be JP Morgan and Chase. So there we go, guys, at that 305 level. That's going to be roughly at the money here. We're sitting on volume around 7,270 and open interest 5,510. Now, as for your delta, because it is close to at the money, you're sitting around at 0.612, or for every $1 change, you're going to see a $61 change in the options contract. Same with your Gamma. Considering I feel this is pretty light, especially for an at-the-money contract, 0.089. So that's your rate of change there. And then your at-the-money IV sitting around 27%. Moving on to Tesla, guys, a lot going on here. What really stood out to me is maybe a potential floor at this 420 mark, but the volume at that specific strike price was around 100K, exactly 100K, which is substantial for the puts, and it was the largest on both sides of the call and the puts. Open interest sitting around 17,400, and once again, your delta, considering it's 0.600, always going to be negative on the put side. Gamma exposure, relatively cool. And I mean, for Tesla, 55.6% isn't horrible, slightly heightened, but we've seen it drastically higher there, guys. One more, Microsoft continuing to slide at that 420. Once again, at that mark, open interest sitting around 591 and volume 22,500. Now, these contracts are essentially worth nothing, $36 and $32 there. Your delta, almost no exposure there, and Gamma as well. At the money IV, slightly elevated, 39.8%, but we shall be back momentarily with some upgrades and downgrades.
Yeah, I think lost in all of this craziness that we're seeing in silver and gold and silver, craziness we're seeing in SNDK, obviously the Tesla news, and then the Warsh pick, is trying to remember that Microsoft got waxed. And on Friday, obviously, it was a pretty good bounce. I don't want to say huge is probably the wrong word. It was a pretty good bounce off that 420 level in yesterday's trade. But when you think about the 3-day rule and sort of letting things calm down after earnings, okay, yes, it was a good report. Some of the concerns are still going to be there. If everyone's worried about that backlog being all half open AI, that hasn't necessarily gone anywhere. It's filled in the gap effectively right here to the prior low at 439. Today, mission is hold that higher low. It doesn't have to break out today, but all it has to do is hold anywhere above 425. I think that's the sign that you're looking for the confirmation dip buy, if you're being patient with Microsoft. There'll probably be a lot of eyes elsewhere today, just given how much volatility is in a few other names. But this is kind of a key bid support to end the week here for Microsoft. A lot's at stake because it was kind of, penalty box not right, because it wasn't like it was falling off the end of the world or anything going into that earnings print, but it was a pretty hefty rejection of what you were hoping was going to be a base there for Softy. And the other thing to keep in mind, this 420 level was the start. You go back to May of last year, it was the start to one of the more bizarre slow trends up than I've seen on a major cap name. Like Microsoft, excuse me, basically had a blowout monster day, then proceeded to have the most boring slow uptrend from 420 to about 510. Well, that level has some significance here on Softy, and it's one to watch certainly today. You don't just look at 420 for Tesla.
No, I like and I like the Tesla calls as well that we were talking about. I talked to some JP Morgan as well going through there. But on a Friday, they have 0-day options as well. So lots of stuff to trade today. I think the metal names are going to be what's good today for sure, like the silver, the golds. I mean, great question about Barrick Gold earlier. And some of those names looked at. I mean, we didn't even talk about IBIT yet with Bitcoin. Bitcoin has just been, like now you're down to 82.6. This is just getting weaker. I probably should have, sticky note is out, but I probably should have put some IBIT on there too. Like this name is not getting any love at all as crypto continues to fall down as well. Sure, super chat, let's up, let's go.
Adam?
Yeah, I believe it's Adam.
No.
Andre, I can get it. There it is. Okay. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So, SoFi's on my radar. We talked about that at $25, but we can read this. Yeah, up 37%. As well, 1 billion, yeah, adjusted EBITDA. We're going to go over all this, 60%. So we have all these in our notes as well. This is what we're talking about. It's that member growth. I mean, I really like the fact that there's more, and we talked about this. It's like the install base for Apple and Meta and all that. Like now yeah, like now you're getting all these customers, and it's like I still bank with the same bank that I started with, and they get all my business. So it's like this is a great opportunity to gather, more accounts, and we actually heard the thing yesterday, the news story yesterday on our show, on the after show there, that Robinhood was going to be looked at for the choice of those new accounts, those baby accounts. If they open up every account at Robinhood and send you the details, and I don't know how the login and all that stuff is going to work, but if you magically open up that account and there's $1,000 in there that you can't touch till you're 18, well, it's now all of a sudden going to be set up for you, which is half the battle. People are lazy, Neil.
Extremely.
Generally speaking. And if they could just get handed the keys to an account, it just becomes easier to deposit. Like you don't have to go to the bank, you don't have to, set this all up yourself, and you can just say, you know what, I have a Robinhood account now, and that's where my son, daughter is going to be invested. And then the other part about that too is if all of a sudden, you have a kid and you like the platform, maybe you then open up an account at Robinhood as well with the sports betting, the crypto trading. Like it's an all-in-one platform.
I know for like when you say that you're with the same bank that you started out with, I take it one step further with like the bank that I'm with because like the company my father worked with at Nortel, the Canadian Bank CIBC, they had a branch dedicated to their campus where all the employees were there. So what do you think they did? Now, there was some benefits with those accounts because they had a partnership with them. Yeah. So what do you think happened to all of the kids from all of the employees? Right. That's where they would bank because there were some benefits to banking.
There's only like 5-6 major banks here in Canada.
And then years later, like everybody was with CIBC that was connected to the company, but you don't leave. Now, in SoFi's case, the only thing that I have a little bit of concern with is we've seen great numbers from them before, and we've seen a reaction where it ends up pulling back. Now, it doesn't mean it's not going to retest some of the highs. And I do think that the difference here, at least temporarily, is that instead of it trying to break out on an earnings, all it's having to do is bounce off a dip. Right, so I think that's a little bit different for SoFi. The big level is going to, if it can crush through 27 at some point, like on my note, I was like, yeah, well, on Friday, that 27 level I think could be a little bit of trouble, so I'd probably look reversion there. You're so far away from the support, which I think is a little bit under the 25, that the dip buy would have to be pretty hefty. So I'm looking for SoFi to do what it usually does, which is something, you've already had a parabolic move, but it's something parabolic on earnings day after the open and then look for the mean revert, as opposed to trying to diddle in the middle with SoFi. But you cannot argue with the quarter. The Robinhood news, you're right, we shouldn't sleep on it. Unfortunately for Robinhood, the only thing is if you're tied to crypto today, there's at least some pressure that you're going to be under because all roads, to me, the outlook on the daily chart has not changed for Bitcoin. Support to resistance. This time, I feel like this one's built different. We get a test of 80 effectively, potentially today, and then we're eventually looking for this mid-70s. It's that prior breakout. That's the structure that we're sitting on here, is to look for this prior breakout and pull back in. So we got 8:30 numbers. We have lots to cover, but also a little bit of economic data. So let's go back to the desk.
Yeah, a little bit of data coming through here this morning, as we mentioned, on the inflation side. PPI, so it shouldn't be too much of a market mover, but just recap here, we have about 10 seconds or less to go. 0.2 on the month-over-month number expected, the core PPI number, 3% expected here. These are December data points that are coming through, so should be fairly in line. Just seeing Canada GDP here as well, basically flat, exactly flat, versus a consensus 0.1%. So there it is, 3.3, so a little bit higher than expected, 3.3% on the core PPI year-over-year number. 3% was the expectation in the prior, 0.5% on the month-over-month versus 0.2 expected. So a little bit of a miss there, guys. Higher on the month-over-month, higher on the year-over-year number for PPI. Coming up at 9:45, we'll get Chicago PMI as well, and then some oil data a little bit later on in the afternoon. But again, PPI core year-over-year 3.3%, 2.9 was expected, 3% was the prior there. So heading in the opposite direction, market kind of shrugging that off.
Yeah, I'm looking at the Canadian GDP data here, Brendo. Let's show this great number over here.
Big flat zero.
0.0%, and then they're looking for it to grow 0.1% in December. So yeah, exactly. That's it right there. That noise.
Sigh. What did they have to do to get it to flat? Is my question.
Yeah, and I don't know if you had an opportunity to hear what Secretary Bessent said about the kind of the rhetoric that he's getting from Canada lately. And Joseph sent me a fantastic X tweet, which is kind of what I've been saying. I'm going to send it to you later, but basically it is that Prime Minister Carney is looking to gain a majority in Parliament. That's kind of where he has basically all the votes he needs to pass a law.
Yeah.
And he's kind of using these opportunities to campaign. And these speeches are not really conducive to a trade deal, but more for a campaign speech. So the gamble here, according to Secretary Bessent, is that he's putting his own political future ahead of the country's best interest, which is to get the best deal possible with our biggest trading partner. That's not a surprise to anybody. So yeah, I'm a little concerned about the near-term pressure on our economy, at least for like the next year.
Especially with what's happening out in the western part of this country currently. Yeah, Canada GDP, guys, month over month. This is November data, flat, 0.0%. Negative 0.3 was the prior, the estimate 0.1 to the upside. So we're still not going anywhere.
Who cares? Because
Canadian GDP.
Where are we going? To the moon. The S&P 500 is up 14% last year. The TSX was up 30%. This is the Toronto Exchange right here. This is the only major stock exchange here. It's not. We don't have like a Nasdaq or New York or anything like that. We have some juniors and stuff. But you know, this is what it looks like in Canada right now. You know, so imagine if we were actually humming. But like this is...
The economy's not the market.
You know, the economy's not the market, that's for sure. But when we're talking about investments and what we're worried about here, we ain't worried about anything over right now. We'll have to wait to see if jobs can continue to fall down here. We have a... Like, we don't have the greatest unemployment rate either. It's like 6-7% right now. Yeah, obviously, GDP's not going. But the market is just humming here. We got minerals, energy, the gold, obviously the gold, the metals, minerals. The banking sectors have been super, super crazy hot here as well. But yeah, underlying, I mean, who knows? So I was just going to say, like, if we're a little bit nervous about some of what's underneath the hood here in Canada, then potentially go short something. But yeah, it's really humming. I mean, this has been so great. 6 months, 21% over here. And just this is what the SPY looks like. The SPY is doing great as well. I mean, there's nothing... The S&P 500 is fantastic. I mean, there's its 1 year, 14.5%, right? We don't have a 6-month marker on here, but 3 years, 72% on the S&P 500. I didn't even see what that 3-year marker was here on the, oh, they don't have it again on this one. But anyways, huge moves in the overall markets. And that's the thing, like you even look at the EEMs, the emerging markets are just outpacing. Like there's so much happening outside of the United States. Obviously,
from the market standpoint, 100%.
Yeah, like our show is very focused, obviously, on U.S. stocks, derivatives, all of that, besides the metals. And we talk about silver and gold. That's pretty universal. But yeah, Michael Noss coming up very, very soon. He knows everything. He's been talking about emerging markets.
Oh, for sure.
EWJ, the relative S&P, the RSP, EWZ as well. The Brazilian is popping. Japan we just talked about. So, and then EEM. Like here, this
the thing is that actually
EEM.
it's not bad to diversify.
It's been the trade.
Diversify away from your own home economy. I know Americans don't usually even think about that, but
this is the emerging markets, man. 41%. So you're almost triple, more than triple last year if you were sitting in the EEM as opposed to the SPY. I don't own any of this.
most of those markets are always in Canadian markets. An example of this too, where you're going to be more heavily correlated to materials, metals. Energy a lot of times because like you'll have that kind of consolidation in those markets. Like they're not heavily tech-driven markets because that's what the U.S. or to a smaller extent. That's going to be
but tech's been garbage for 6 months.
But that's my whole point. Is like it has more to do. It has more to do with the themes that are working right now. Having it been metals, having it be rare earths, like those types of themes work well in emerging markets. More so than technology, which has been languishing a little bit here. We do have Michael Noss on. I don't know where he's going to go today because there's a lot that you could cover. Obviously, the metals would make sense. Obviously, anything crypto related could make some sense. Maybe even talk about feed. He probably has no idea what that stock is. Well, there's a lot to watch. So let's go over to Michael and see what he's interested in on this beautiful Friday.
Market's still kind of chopping around here. There's all kinds of opinions still coming through from analysts and economists on this Fed chair pick so far this morning. What a week it's been. What a week we have ahead as well with more tech earnings to come. Michael Noss, happy Friday, first off. You've brought an interesting chart here this morning on what has happened, or what happened actually yesterday, and why it should be actually very bullish for us.
Yeah, so yesterday was wild, right? It was one of the biggest bottoming tails I've seen in a while. So yeah, I brought a chart of the Qs, and I just want to go through a bit of a simple thing that people could take and a simple thing that people could do, remembering that we are in the world of ChatGPT and LLMs. The stocks haven't been that interesting for 6 months, like the guys on the desk were saying, but these are still amazing tools. So this is for TradingView, but you could probably run this same thing on TrendSpider or anywhere else that you can kind of build your own indicator. So I, like everyone, noticed this massive bottoming tail and said, wow, that's interesting. I don't want to immediately go, okay, that's super bullish, because you read in a textbook somewhere that bottoming tails and hammer candles are bullish. But we had this big sell-off all morning, huge rebound later in the day. We're gapping down a little bit so far this morning. So I went and I just wrote this prompt on the next slide. And I won't read the whole thing, but this is YouTube, so I guess you can pause it if you want to see the prompt. But I basically just said, hey, I want you to build me an indicator that looks at how big the bottoming tail is on a candle, and then just mark that for me. And then you can build a back test in TrendSpider, TradingView, probably eSignal, a lot of these places as well, anywhere you can build an indicator. But just that one kind of block of text made it so that TradingView now, or TrendSpider, TradingView, if we go back out, is starting to note these little arrows on my chart. So if you go to the next chart, it's just me zooming back in time, looking, seeing where this happened before. So this little blue arrow here is just the indicator that it made. So I asked it a simple question. It spit out an indicator. I copied and pasted the code, which I don't understand, into TradingView, and it goes here. Okay, we'll highlight every time there's a candle on the Qs, I think bigger than 1.5%. It was like 1.75% yesterday. And you can go back in time and you can verify these things for yourself if they are bullish. So, if you look at this one, yes, it, started a good up move, but it wasn't immediate, some chop. Before then, it actually broke the low of that wick very briefly and then started its up move. If we keep going back in the next chart here, this one was way more bullish in September of 2024, in which we had that massive bottoming tail of over 1.5%. And even the next 3 days were a rocket, and off we go. And then this last chart just shows that it happens a lot in the last chart here, just for this is 2022, 2023. You can see some are happening over there on the left-hand side. They marked a short-term bottom, not a long-term bottom. And then the one in the middle marked, again, a short-term bottom. And it doesn't mean it has to happen this time. I've brought you guys 5 examples of, what's happened after. But quite often, this is a mark of some sort of bottom. You have a news event that comes out that completely turns sentiment on a dime in a single day. But the main takeaway that I wanted to give on this presentation is not necessarily what's going to happen next. It's more about how easy it is to just go and verify these things for yourself now. This whole process maybe took me 5 minutes, where I just went ChatGPT and I said, hey, program this for me. So you're, putting the indicator on the chart for me. And then I just went back in time and I took a look. Now, what you'll notice is that when you get movements like this, it's not generally low volatility days that it happens. So quite often you saw them in the bottom of, or near the bottom of, really volatile markets. This time might be a little bit different because we'd have no volatility going into it. So yeah, just a quick way that when you see something unusual in the market, use these AI as your friends. Don't make it do all the work for you where you're saying, hey, what does this candle mean? Because it's just going to go to some random website and tell you that. But have it program these for you, and you create a little indicator for yourself and then just go through and look.
I was just thinking here, and I just started going back through some of those charts. Very, very interesting concept. Did you come across, any example of this happening with the market currently at highs, where we are just kind of chopping around, going sideways essentially, versus, a lot of these charts that we just looked at, the market was already in a decent pullback, and it was more of a bottoming signal. But, just to emphasize the rarity, or potentially the rarity here, of what happened yesterday, is actually happening like right near all-time highs.
Yeah, and that was my big takeaway as well. It generally, when you get these massive intraday turnarounds, you get this crazy intraday volatility. I was, just looking, because I always just have a ticker on the side of my screen, and we were down like 3% at one point, and then seems like I blinked and I looked back and we were only down 0.5%. So generally speaking, you're going to get those in high volatility markets, and high volatility markets are normally bear markets, right? This is when the chart we're seeing right here is right after the tariff tantrum, is when we saw a turnaround like that. And of course, we had that big green stick, which was the rollback of the tariffs. So I could not find really any examples, and I went back probably 10 years or so, of something like this happening at or near highs. So to me, this felt more like a shock, and less like, okay, people have decided to kind of put their flag down and mark the bottom of a market. So having this with a low volume market, and then that low volatility market, and that low volatility market at highs, that is what's unique. And that's really what prompted me to go back and try to find some examples of this happening in the past, but I just couldn't really find anything.
How do you play this then? Like, if this is a continuation type move, is this viable, on a break of these highs?
I think me and probably everyone else in the world has been waiting for these, 635, 640 highs on the Qs. I'm more interested, and this is a little bit of, a bear coming out, because I've just been, since the beginning of the years, you guys know, I've said that midterm years are usually volatile and choppy, so I want to play the volatility. I'm going to be interested to see what happens if we break the low of that wick, because you would imagine there's going to be a lot of stop losses under there. If I was long now, that's where I'd probably put my stop loss. So if we break that low, I think that's interesting. Buying this breakout, it just seems a little too obvious to me. It seems like everyone's waiting for it, and as soon as the market knows that everybody wants something, it doesn't make it easy for you.
Especially when, on a day we come in, we get new Fed chair announced, we get, decent earnings from, the first half of mega cap tech throughout this week, and then more to come next week. So interesting point here, definitely, for the overall market. We'll see what happens today. Have a great weekend, Mr. Noss. We'll see you Monday.
See you Monday. Have a good one.
Yeah, I think what Michael was saying there about the correlation, obviously, when the markets are the most volatile, it tends to be bearish, and so like yesterday is when you get tons of great trading opportunities, because you could sit there, like we had that short on AMD in the morning, and then all of a sudden, boom, like you was just mentioning there, the market's down 2.5%, and then you blink, and at the close, you're down 0.5% or something like that. So it does give you a lot of opportunity, but generally speaking, some of these markets aren't just a one-day phenomenon. I mean, you're going to have, it is a little bit of a negative bias, I feel like, in the market right now, and, we couldn't get off the jump with Microsoft earnings. Obviously, Meta was very impressive. Intel kicked it off sort of negatively in that sector. And then we had all the banks getting to the downside as well. What's sort of been saving what we're doing here, I think, has been these crazy running stocks.
It's memory and golden stocks.
Yeah,
what happens when the metals were out?
If you've been trading momentum in the last 6 months or even the last checks watch 20 days, you're huge, you know? So it's just a matter of, this is a living and breathing market, and you do have to take in all of this analysis and try to position yourself appropriately. Because if you're an investor, like I think you and I were talking yesterday, you're like, you know, how do you, or you said it, I'm not sure if you went in, I didn't went in and buy anything, but it's like, how often do you see? And we said 6 to 7 years for Microsoft, hasn't had a 10% down day.
I was so close to just breaking rule and being like, no, I'm just gonna buy it on day one. But then I looked back at the Amazon chart, I was like, whatever. I felt the same way in Amazon, and it still made sense to wait 2 or 3 days. So you go back to the tried and true. But I was looking for things that I was looking to buy back into that I thought might have dipped more in yesterday's trade. Like I was really hoping maybe G Vernova would have pulled back, and then it just didn't.
Yeah.
Which is good. If you have something that didn't fall yesterday, that's probably a good sign. But if you've been trying to dip by it, you're like, well, what's going on here? Kind of moment. So you're kind of hoping that maybe, look, you want things to go up, but if you've been looking for value, yesterday's dip was important. What you should also consider is what are the things that did not bounce? Like we'll keep talking about Bitcoin, biggest volume in a long time. It's underneath yesterday. Like we're actually ticking down further. So some things did not get that relief rally and bottom tail wick that we saw. And maybe those are the kind of names that you want to downgrade yourself. But what we can also do is find out what the analysts want to upgrade and downgrade with Joe.
All right, guys, so we're going to start some things off with the downgrades. Kenvue's going to be at the top of the list, guys, getting a buy to a hold rating by Jefferies, getting that price target lowered to $18. You're down about 0.25% here this morning. Now, TD Cowen downgrading the airlines here, guys. American Airlines is going to be the first one here with the price target being lowered from $19 to $17. You're down a little bit more than 0.4%. Now, as for Alaska Airlines, same thing, guys. You're getting that price target lowered from $64 to $63 by TD Cowen. And then we also have Tesla. No, guys, this is not a typo. Underweight by JP Morgan, but lowering its price target from $150 to $145 on Tesla. So clearly not a fan of the company. Now, as for some of the upgrades, guys, once again, Apple reporting yesterday after the bell and some great numbers, going from a hold to a buy by Maxim, and price target being raised to $300. Broadcom also getting the nod as well, too, guys, going from peer perform to outperform with a $400 price target. You're down 0.4% here this morning, but Southwest Airlines catching some love here by BMO Capital Markets, upgraded to $57.50. That's also going to be going from a market perform to an outperform. And then we have SanDisk as well too, guys. I don't know why it has MET down there, but yes, SNDK is going to be that target, or sorry, is that ticker. But price target being raised from, price target being held to $725, but we're going from a market perform to an outperform. You're up 23.7% here this morning.
Oh, SNDK, what are we doing with you? Like if you had told me, this was not that long ago, I know, because literally the start of the year, when it was forming this like little wedge pattern. It's like, oh, well, you know, if it breaks this wedge, that could be your chance. If you've been waiting for something like big, crazy to happen to the downside, if it breaks that wedge, and then it breaks it to the upside. And that pattern has been absolutely unabated. But one thing about these ridiculous, like if you have a price target that's more than, let's just say 50% away from where the current stock is, I don't want to, like, who at JP Morgan? Like, it's always, it's one thing, like SNDK, okay, fine. So you move your price target so that you're 10% higher than where it is right now. You think there's further growth. But if you think the thing is going to get cut in 2/3, I want to see your short seller report. Like, because that's what you might as well be, for Tesla. And it also happens on a day where there is sort of positive news. And everyone keeps thinking about the forward-thinking aspect of it. Now, all of a sudden, you have to contemplate and invest, like potentially you could end up investing in SpaceX. And all the speculation is going to start to come out, like what that what that merger could look like in terms of terms is a bad way to say it, but what the terms might be of that kind of an arrangement. Would it be a one-to-one? Because people have been looking for access to SpaceX for quite some time, and in doing so, sometimes in maybe not the most efficient ways, like the Destiny Tech 100. You can chat GPT. You don't have to trust me, but any calculation that ever gets done of the Destiny 100 and take the current and the latest valuations of all the companies that they hold in the private markets, and then give it a fair value in the Destiny Tech, and it's pretty much always like double what the value of what they hold is. So you're paying a pretty hefty premium, and then most of that is because you want access to SpaceX, which is basically the largest holding in the Destiny 100. So people have been getting into this when they feel bullish about SpaceX, or they've been trading other proxies. All of a sudden now Tesla becomes one of those vehicles, and I don't wonder how that might affect something like DXYZ. Like, it's up right now. I half expected it to be flatter down with this news, because I think maybe people might start have their money piled in Tesla if they want to buy SpaceX. It's a speculative play. We'll see.
Yeah, I really, I like that opportunity and that was making me think almost immediately like that I wanted to get into some more Tesla for sure. But Andre, I don't have anything up yet to do anything, but just really quickly here, I want to go over to Palantir, because Palantir was a name that had a little bit of a rough ride as of late. This is a name that's coming, I have it, is coming out in just 2 days. So you have today, and then Monday morning, Palantir earnings are going to be hitting. So that's going to be an absolute wild ride for everybody. Is my mic not going that well? Okay, good, it's okay now. Well, without any further ado, let's talk about PDS Biotechnology under the Nasdaq. PDSB, it's transforming how the immune system targets and fights cancer with initial focus on HPV-16 positive head and neck cancer. HPV-16 can cause head and neck cancer, and more people are facing these high-risk cancers than ever before. HPV-16 positive head and neck cancers are projected to become the most common type of head and neck cancer in the US in just a few years. If you're interested, please go check it out and learn more at pdsbiotech.com. That's pdsbiotech.com. We want to thank them for sponsoring this segment. So, yeah, look, it was great to have Michael on. You're seeing Bitcoin still trying to stabilize down here around 82,000. That should be interesting. We have SLV and gold on our minds today. Yeah, SLV, yeah. I wrote down, let's try to trade. It's on the sticky note, but I was trying to say, let's trade the pre-market break, and that was at 88 or so. So that's just what Neil was saying. We're just breaking through right now, 89 break, and now we're bouncing now off 88. So, yeah, just get ready to see something here. SLV. We said yesterday, it's funny, because I think yesterday we had it written down as a short, and we played a little bit of short. We played both ways, but, at the end of it all, there it goes. It's finally giving that move down. And will it stop? Yeah. I mean, there will be buyers that will come in and try to support this thing. Where? That's going to be another question. And I think today's trade is just about being smarter than we had been before trading SLV. I heard Joe or something, I think yesterday, say what was your dropping nickels to collect pennies or something like that? And it was just you're leaving, and that's the same thing. It's just a matter of you're taking, a tenth of the move when the move could be 5 times that. And I think silver, and it's different strategies for different folks, but I blink sometimes, and this thing is I'll be, okay, well, this level is 50 cents away or whatever, so you take some out, and then by the time it cracks $5, you tend to have a little less left. But I just think that silver is one that's going to be heavily looked at today, and I almost want to ask ChatGPT or Gemini or Claude or something about the amount of money notionally that has been traded in silver just this last week. I'm pretty sure it's going to be,
of course, it's a record,
like a historical high.
It has to be.
That has to be what we're talking about.
It's funny you say that. That's I don't know if it was a joke quote, but there's something adjacent. The trader that when I was a trainee, and then even the first couple of years of trading that I sat next to, and we sort of came up together. He had a great saying but it was along those lines. But his was, if it was raining nickels outside, would you not want to collect them? Imagine, and it comes down to trading too. Silver obviously is going to make gigantic moves, but the last couple of days on silver, I've been just looking for one high percentage trade, like whether it's just one 15-minute trend break, wherever it happens to be, and when it does it, and it could be long, scalp. You could get the best long. Like I had the long off the bottom here back into the prior low because I was bearish on it too. So when the mean reversion opportunity was a long in the opposite direction, play it from here into the prior low. But if you, like the last 3 days, it's gone 3 for 3 waiting for that moment. But that has meant waiting for a ridiculous move that puts a clear trend on the 15-minute and then reverting that move when it sets up on the 15-minute. So it can take a half an hour, it can take an hour for that to set up, and then you could be in a 30-minute trade based on the structure of it. But the thing about silver is it probably has something for every style of trading. If you want to wait for major support, go ahead and do that. You want to just play aggressive trends on lower moving averages, it's probably going to give you a little bit of that as well if you like mean reversion, that too. Oh, we have multiple super chats. I think we
do? Oh, good.
Okay, well, there's one right here, but I'm pretty sure we might have missed another one.
I just saw the BBAI one.
I see the BBAI one, but I'm noticing one that I don't think we got to from Z's that I think was first. Did we talk?
I mentioned Palantir, but I don't think either of us can make it go anywhere.
No.
Sorry about that, but
nobody can make it.
You just want the guide. It's just about the guide. We know they have the contracts. I really like Palantir. You're going to see. The next question is about the same thing, man. This is another BBAI, Palantir. These are all defense names. We talked about ONDS. We talked about some of these. Some of these other names.
Plays AVAV's been pulling back. Well, here's my only thing with Palantir is you don't know. I don't know what the earnings are going to be. But we are, on the daily chart, I know it broke through that 200 period on the daily chart, but we're observing this on the weekly as well. The 50 period on the weekly is technically holding, so you're going to have this bottom tail potential wick. Like if you don't lose 146, 147, the low from yesterday, then you do have a bottoming tail candle on the weekly and a chance on earnings to open holding this. So if earnings can hold the 50 period on the weekly, this becomes it could turn into like a regular bull flag on the weekly. It's a long one. We're talking about half of last year where it's held this range from 150 to 210. But you've got to consider your time frame. Like if you're a long-term holder of it or waiting to buy a dip, let's just say, then I want that confirmation over the next couple of weeks, probably the next week on earnings. If you have one of these candles, then you've got yourself a buy opportunity off that level. If it doesn't hold, well, then I'd be waiting for 120 bucks. So you have to think about what your time frame might be. If you're thinking on weeks and months, then go look at a weekly or a monthly chart and wait till after earnings for Palantir. And then for BBAI, it's probably even more important for that one because like if Palantir is in the midst of a little bit of pullback, sometimes you can literally just wait for it to bottom. And then some related names will start catching a bit after that. Yeah, the difference with BBAI, of course, in Palantir, BBAI still has a 24% short float. So yeah, that'll help. It's still that'll help it on the upside, but it also does not help it on the downside. As this 25% of the float being short is helping push this thing lower. So like we said yesterday about the volatility, as the market goes boom, so do these stocks that don't make any money, man. So, but with Kevin Warsh coming through, and I don't want to say like this is a thing about BBAI or anything like that, but if we do get interest rate cuts, which are now, I think, I don't know, Brendan, if you mentioned it, but I think there's still expected to be 2 interest rate cuts for this year. Maybe that'll change a little bit with Warsh, but at the end of the day, cheaper rates, lower rates, cheaper money should help out some of these companies that are no longer making any money as they have a cost of borrowing. Works in the opposite way for these multinationals that are sitting on, like Apple's, $154 billion or something in cash that they have. So, you'd like to earn a little bit of interest on that sometimes. And Apple announced a dividend yesterday of 26 cents per share. So that's, for me as a tech investor, that's not great. I don't mind a dividend, right? But the fact is, and I think both Brendan and Sharif mentioned the AirPods getting the cameras. Like, I'd rather see innovation, honestly, than making whatever, a couple hundred shares I own or whatever I own, I don't even know. It hasn't been Apple's bag, though.
No, I know, but I'm happy to collect the dividend. I'm just like, I don't know,
I think
buy
with Apple-
somebody with that money? Like, why?
But that's not that also isn't what they do.
No, I know. That's what I want them to
they're
do.
so incredibly unique. They've never been. They don't make a splash with
They bought somebody yesterday. It was like $2 billion.
And for them, a $2 billion deal is actually on the larger side.
I think that was Joey Options Capital. I think
pick up
they bought
small
yesterday.
companies is one thing that they'll do. Do large buybacks, do small dividend, and that's sort of the way that they roll, and it works for them. So I just kind of feel like I would want them to change things too sometimes. But like if it's working for you, you don't want to stray too far away. Like you see why Warren Buffett liked them too. It's just.
No, I love Apple, but I mean it's pretty
that's
flat.
his mentality as well. I think. By the way, it's still 2 hikes. Just go out to if you go out to December on the tool. So it's like sure a 1 in 3 chance that we'll be at 300 to 325. Which would be 2 cuts, but then there's also a small chance of 3. So when you bake that all in, it's about 60-something% chance that we get 2 or more cuts. That's what the markets are pricing in. That said, I never really know how much they update this website. We just had the announcement of Warsh this morning. So it's probably worth checking back in on this throughout the day. You can also maybe look at Polymarket or Kalshi. Like they're both pretty good at updating a little bit faster. You want to check back on that middle.
You know, like the more I think about it, though, like Warsh just doesn't. It's still voting. It's still a vote. So I don't know the influence. I mean, it'll be interesting. He might have more influence over the committee, but like Lisa Cook is still up in the air as well. So there's a whole bunch of stuff happening in Fed land. We had a no change in the Canadian rate as well a couple days ago. So anyways, as we continue to fly through, it's already 9 o'clock. Like, hey now. We're excited. It's going to be so much to talk about today, as you can see. That's why I can't believe we're off actually live now. If you're just joining us for the first time, we're live at 8 a.m. and it just goes by so quick now. And it was when we first did it, it was like, okay, what are we going to sort of talk about? But we've just nailed this. And this TCGL, didn't this get to $500 last night as well? So yes, it did. Here's a 5-minute chart overnight there. It got to 440 or so. I stopped the charts at 7 o'clock or so, but nice move higher there. 630, $430, just absolutely blasted. And then I don't know, man. Like how this stuff even happens, it's insane. But all the way to the downside. So we went from $440 to $100 last night and back into the closing price range. And now today we tick up again to $200. So I mean, come on, man. If you're not invested in TCGL, what the hell are you doing?
You know what the scary thing about that is? See that first spike to 400 that gets reverted?
Yeah, right here.
You know, like the firms that short these things, knowing that they're going to come back eventually, they're piling into that kind of a wick.
Oh yeah.
So like it's like they're like it's the bigger firms that short that, and then it breaks the high. So what do you think they do? They're like, yeah, well, whatever. Now,
you know, it's kind of funny that is the high right there. So that probably someone got stopped out right here on this huge wick to 450. And then as soon as they got stopped out, it was like, okay.
Yep.
Wow, that would be like, oh man. That would be
it's
a
like
disaster.
that's the thing. Like there's being right and there's being able to hold that kind of a position.
Yeah,
the most like the average most traders you just can't hold
even
that.
100 shares, man. You're out so much.
Well, first of all, even getting locates on that one,
that's the other problem.
We checked early yesterday and it was too expensive. So my guess is by now, and I'll check at some point. We'll go to the desk right now. We'll check. But my guess is it's pretty prohibitive for regular traders to even be able to short this thing. So you won't see us short it because I promise you it's going to be, might even be blocked in the system for risk purposes.
Oh, probably today, yeah. It normally has to be, so for us to trade it on a prop floor, has to average over 50,000 shares. This one obviously has this week, but
yeah, just for the yesterday.
Who knows if it's unlocked or not? I don't think. I can, you know what, let's go back to the desk and I'm going to find out how expensive it is for 100 share short on TC.
Yeah, because you can't even ask if it's blocked.
Yeah, I'm going to go find out, and I'm going to say 100.
Oh, it's going to be over $100.
Like, yeah, at least $100 per share. Okay, let's go back over the desk. I'm going to find out right now.
All right, guys, 694 on the dot. That's where we closed yesterday on the SPY. We're below that now, trying to hold on to 691, down a little bit less, Brendo, than 0.5%. If we really catch a bid, we're going to look to yesterday's area high. That's going to be 695. That's where we kind of rejected off earlier today. We catch another bid, then we're looking at basically that 697 to 698 area. If we sell off for whatever reason, first thing, we're looking at that 690 area. If we lose that, we're looking at 687.5, Brendo. That's the overnight low.
What a week it's been. A lot to understand here this morning as well. If you haven't done so yet, make sure you grab this. Link is below in the description of this video. Top link will get you to the sign-up page for the watch list. If you haven't done so yet, grab that, sign up with your email, and you can just have that every single morning for free from us. Interesting comment here from Sharif and I were just chatting about this off camera. Bostic was on CNBC there talking a little bit about this Fed chair pick and the predictability of it, I think, essentially, and essentially saying, you know, every Fed chair comes with their own view of global economic situation and the world in general. But at the end of the day, as the guys were saying, one vote.
One vote.
Still 12 people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's typically a Fed-centric chair or Fed-centric committee, I should say. Chair-centric committee, I'll get it right. But typically... Okay, AMD apparently is moving, guys, so we're going to have to pause for a second over here. Something's going on with AMD. Let's take a quick look. Dropping down here aggressively. I don't have anything on it yet, Brendo, but it's down 4 2/3% to start over here, trying to break through that 240 area. Anything on your end with AMD?
There's a note on OpenAI here. OpenAI, Brockman, and A16Z contribute to, that's not going to affect AMD. We'll keep an eye out for anything AMD-wise, but yeah, I mean, interesting concept there as far as the Fed chair is concerned. Yeah. I mean, let's talk about Apple as well.
Absolutely. Let's talk about Apple. Great earnings report yesterday. Not really reflected, though, in the price action, at least not yet. Let's talk about what they did. Revenue up 16% year over year on the quarter to $143.76 billion. That easily beats the 138.5 expected by the street, with EPS coming in at 284, again well ahead of the 267 expected by analysts. iPhone revenue here, the real reason, surging 23% year over year on the back of a more aggressive iPhone cycle for the iPhone 17, much better received than the 16. Strong demand, as I mentioned, for the 17. Tim Cook called the iPhone demand staggering, with Greater China revenue also up big, Brendo, 38% year over year, now bringing about $25.5 billion and materially above expectations. All-time records as well in China for upgraders on the mainland. Management emphasized the rebound was product-driven, not promotional. This is something we've been seeing with Apple to kind of move the needle in China, which has been weak locally. They've been doing a lot of promotions, whether with Alibaba, etc. That didn't happen this time. There are obviously not good signs here. Mac revenue falling, wearables revenue falling. iPad revenue, though, rebounding. My suspicion is the update to iPad OS. Now you can kind of use it as a Mac. I've been telling you about that for a while. Gross margins also topping expectations.
Yeah, services kind of in line with expectations as well. So Apple upside right now, Neil.
You've probably seen things like...
Anything on AMD? I don't see anything.
Literally. Things like what just happened in AMD, where you're trading U.S. stocks, maybe you're in options or the futures, and you get blindsided. It's a big move, just like the $8 that was down on AMD in a matter of seconds, and you're sitting there wondering why. It's not always your fault. Sometimes large funds build huge positions in the option market before the name you're trading is even reacting. So to gain an edge in today's market, SpotGamma's daily flow patrol report reveals where big money is positioned, so you can identify stocks building momentum ahead of major price moves. To get 2 free weeks of SpotGamma's Flow Patrol, scan the QR code you see on screen and go behind the curtain to see what the professionals see. And obviously app timing there for AMD. I'm probably not going to see Apple drop $8 out of nowhere. I would venture to say if they're both around $250 stocks. If Apple did that kind of a move, the market would feel it rather precipitously. It's obviously a larger holding inside of the market. When we were doing it, it was a fantastic show in the afternoon. And as we were doing it, we're like, okay, well, that's good and that's great. And there wasn't much to point to. It wasn't like the Microsoft report where maybe you could nitpick some things here or there. But I thought it was pretty strong overall. But we needed to hold on to the gains. And we said our concern would be if we come in and Apple's right back to where it was at the end of yesterday. So if it's underneath 260, it just doesn't get me excited. That is a not good looking candle effectively, right? Because you include all that buy action that happened, in my opinion, right up to the 50 pre-moving average and rejecting it. So if we don't get back above the 260 level, then I think this is destined to hold this $5 range today. the 55 into 60. So I think you've got 2 days worth of support. You can make an argument about 3 there going back to the beginning of the week on Apple. And I'd play inside day for Apple. There's so much that has, like, it was mind-boggling numbers, like 2.5 billion combined devices worldwide. Just monster growth. You get small as expected on services if you want to be nitpicky about it, but it's flat. And when you're flat after earnings, it's not that exciting. We'll talk about SoFi, which is flying around. That's tradable today. Silver tradable. Bitcoin went ham yesterday. Tesla's going to be volatile. Apple, I don't think this is one that you're a day trader you're excited for, unless we can break away from 260, or maybe you get a dip buy at 255. Like that at least gives you a level to work off of. So it'll be a pass for me for Apple, but great quarter. There's no question about that. It's not giving you a Microsoft moment. That's a positive.
Yeah, no, I think we've been on here many times and talked about whenever you are in between or in the middle of your implied move, which, was up 3 or 4%, then it was down a little bit there, I don't know if it was less than 2% overnight, and then, now you're starting to go back up to the upside. So the market can't even figure out what to do with Apple. So for me to sit here and be like, this is a screaming buy or sell, I don't know. I would actually favor the short only because of the reaction that we've seen to earnings so far. I mean, the Microsoft wasn't even that bad, and it got hit down 10%. And Apple has some, as Sharif had mentioned, there's some shoots of misses, right? I mean, the MacBook wasn't a great call there. The wearables, we'll have to see. Hopefully that can get going just a little bit more. The China number was fantastic. I mean, 25 billion versus 21 billion. So there's things that we can say that are great. I don't know if we got any resolution with Tim Cook and what his sort of plans were moving forward on that one. The dividend is nice, but yeah, no real talk. They said that some sort of a major product launch or update or something coming soon. We'll have to see what that is. People obviously suggesting maybe the AirPods, but yeah, look, there's nothing in our notes. I was waiting for the Gemini series sort of lock up and all that kind of stuff. And it's just, we know what Apple's doing. They're going to be here. This is going to be a stock that's probably going to be up 10% on the year or whatever. And just, it's a good stock. And I don't think it's, on the radar today with everything happening. So yeah, flat on the day for Apple, probably a flat trade. Like if we get down to the bottom of 256,
that's a different story.
Then you can go long. But right now there's no major levels on the chart, and that's our job, is to sort of go over some of the levels that we think, and I don't really see that. I mean, IBIT's bouncing right now, so there's going to be crypto plays today. There's obviously the metal plays. There's the memory names, and we haven't even looked at like the quantum or uranium plays, and there's like just so much happening now that
about quantum lately.
Yeah, and I think the sort of the luster for now is off of this mega cap behemoth, Apple, and we'll go over to mid cap land now with SoFi.
Just keeping my eye out here for guys, AMD at the lows right now. So a little bit of a continuation move underway here for AMD. Still not seeing a thing as far as any kind of headline on why, but we'll still watch out for that. Yeah, SoFi, good report here. A little bit of a pullback as well, back to 25.50, 25.75 here. After just straight to the upside initially on these numbers.
This is an amazing profitability fix here, Brendo. 13 pennies per share, but that's 160% year-over-year increase for that profitability. So 13 pennies per share, the street was looking for 12, but a marked change year-over-year. Adjusted revenue rose 40% as well, a little over $1 billion, and they added over 1 million new users in Q4, bringing total membership to 13.7. We'll talk about that one more in a second as a possible, a leading indicator for future revenue. Member growth does remain kind of that leading indicator, as I mentioned, for future revenue. SoFi guided as well. 2026 EPS of 60 pennies ahead of the 59 expected by analysts, with revenue expected to come in at 4.65 billion, also exceeding 4.529. That's for the full year, by the way. Originally known kind of just for student loan refinancing, they've really expanded their moat, whether we're talking about personal loans now, credit cards, mortgages, investment accounts, and the company holds on to a banking license, which they may use, obviously, to expand their moat a little bit more, up 70% last year.
Yeah, pretty impressive so far here this morning. We were talking about Robinhood as well, guys, after the close last night on that government note with the Trump accounts. Back downside here this morning for Hood. Just hearing it was coming back through 101.50 as well. So giving basically 50% of that move after the close last night back. Here's SoFi, though, on a pullback.
we're still at the point with them where, look, it's a terrific quarter, but 1 million, record ad to now have 13.7 million members. I think that's what we're probably the most excited about here with SoFi. My only issue with SoFi, and I think I had 26.4 and 27. It's more like 27 quarter written down as a couple of spots to look for mean reversion. One of them's already had a bit of a pullback. And if you look, like your support level's kind of like down here at 25. It's already had a bit of a pullback, but you're holding the bull flag. So I'm kind of looking for some kind of a trend reverse on SoFi. And if we don't, again, like if it's already happened at 26.4, if we break out the top, it would be this area, 27 to 27.25. So if it breaks out here, there could be like a quick little long play. I don't typically like breakout longs on a Friday. I feel like those are lower percentage typically. And I'd rather take a second shot. If the stock's going to break out, I'd rather a second shot on a Friday than the first. So I'll be waiting at that 27 to 27.20 level for a bit of a fade. Because SoFi has a history of making a bit of a top on that earnings day, pulling back, and then you get like a secondary move for the real breakout.
Yeah, look, I have, first of all, just joking around here, but like, we had AMD yesterday short. It was the biggest trade for me all day, and we had it like at 9:35. And then today, we added AMD to the sticky note here, feeling short. Like this is before this move even happens. Like we put this thing out an hour ago. Feeling short early, 250 key level, but we hit a great short yesterday, looking again. Like we had AMD written on here as a short. It's just, unfortunately, now we may wind up missing that play. We'll see if it comes back upside. So I don't know what was going on there. We hit that short yesterday and it was so good, man. It was $16 winner or something yesterday on that AMD short initially, right? But we have 25 written down as a long now. Strong earnings, good guide, be patient. Bank stocks have faded, early pops this season, right? So we've seen that happen over and over again with SoFi. Sorry, I was looking at it on eSignal. Let me just call it up over here on our platform. So not doing too much here early. We saw the Nasdaq make a move down. We saw the whole market kind of make a little bit of a move down on that PPI number at 8:30. PM. Was it PMI or PPI? What am I thinking about? PP. Okay, good. So PPI. So this did make a move as well, but nothing too dramatic. You're at VWAP right now. It's trending about where it was expected move was. I think it was about 7%. Happy with where we are now. I don't know about that statistic that Neil mentioned about breakouts maybe on Fridays, but on this one, I'm not looking for anything on a breakout. I mean, there's really no key levels. Where are you breaking out to? Breaking out to 27, which is kind of just in this loop. I think that's what you want to look for is the 50-period moving average today. I think we can easily get to $27. I mean, I don't think that's anything in question with that. So when we have this gap, we always tend to play 2 VWAP, which we just bounced off of right now. That's 25.50. Obviously, that's going to be way too light because on earnings, you don't want to sit around and catch falling knives. You want to wait for it to make a bottom. And right now, I wrote down $25. That's where we went to on that pop. We went up to 26, back down into 25, and have held that level. So someone was down here thinking about 25. So I'll join them. I'll think about that trade. We'll look at it when it comes through. We won't necessarily take it immediately, but when it hits 25, it'll show up on the scanner. Bang, we'll note it, and we'll trade it. So 25 for SoFi is sort of the price that gets me excited. We're going to be looking at that one very, very early today. I promise you that. That is SoFi. We don't have AMD on the board, but like I'm the same way as Brendan. Like I mean, maybe Adara's over there working, but I don't see anything on advanced micro devices really. I mean, I haven't really looked through Twitter, but on our major news sources, there's really nothing
there. Well, there's
there.
a Kramer quote that's positive.
Oh, well, yeah, that's Kramer that's sending that down 5%. But NVIDIA not doing anything. Broadcom was getting hit a little bit earlier today, I noticed. I thought it was anyways. Well, now it's all the way up. So there was Broadcom when we were looking at it a minute ago, 327. So this has actually gone up $8, and AMD has fallen down. So there might be some sort of
we are missing something.
Correlation between Broadcom move up and AMD's move down because this was down 2% or something. Like this was at 326, right? We closed at 331. So this was down $4, now up 8 against AMD.
I've now seen 2 or 3 tweets, people speculating about some kind of delayed chip shipment. I've seen no reputable source say that. I've just seen a couple of random accounts. I'm just searching for AMD on it.
Oh, you're reading Mike Peter Ryder's Twitter account?
Nah, it's not Mike. I know if it was Mike. No, but in seriousness, like it smells like there is something obviously afoot because you have, especially with Broadcom's also moving the other way, and it's very specific. It's like NVIDIA's not moving and Intel's not moving, but AMD is and Broadcom is. A chip name that is.
AMD is also like one of the more overvalued.
Yeah,
like
well,
as far as the PE, whether or not, whatever your
overpriced.
opinion is, but the pricing of it.
Compared to NVIDIA, it's not even close.
Yeah.
Another thing which.
Something that's definitely not overpriced, the next one.
It's not
For
SNDK.
sure not SNDK.
Definitely not.
Suggesting that there could be even more positivity coming AMD's way. And they were talking specifically about Google Genie 3, which is pointing to an AI world where compute is ongoing and constant, meaning more demand for chips, more demand for memory specifically. We'll get to SNDK here in a second, but I mean, if you think about it right now, the way people use AI, it's bursty. There's queries and then lulls and then queries and then lulls. If we get to a point where it's just on your body in some way as a wearable constantly, it's just going to be ongoing, or in your car, or in your home. It's just going to be, the compute demand there is just going to be
just don't see it winding down.
No.
To be quite honest with you. And battery technology is going to have to improve for that because it's going to be on all the time.
100%.
As we talked about the Apple 100%. AirPods with cameras, got to increase the battery.
Buy rare minerals today. SNDK, just absolute monster. Took out 670 there. We're on our way back up right now. Barely a pullback here so far this morning.
This is a fantastic report, guys. Top line number for Q3 revenue coming in over $3 billion and a 31% year-over-year increase on the top line number, well ahead of the $2.3 billion expected by analysts, with non-GAAP gross margins 51.1%, up 21.2 points. And if you know, gross margins on a physical product above 50%, check mark right there. Excellent. Adjusted EPS $2.12 compared with $1.23 a year ago, so a marked change there. Their data center segment revenue jumped 76%, Brendo, becoming the primary growth engine. Surprise, surprise there. Management highlighted accelerating enterprise deployments for RAM as well as AI-driven storage, and they're guiding quite well as well. So Q3 revenue guidance set for 4.4 to 4.8, well ahead of the street's expectations, and the non-GAAP EPS for full year, 12 to 24 bucks.
Winner of the chart of the day goes to SNDK on the weekly time frame. This is going back to, August of last year. 50 bucks. 50 bucks.
That's fantastic.
August of last year for SNDK, guys. Unreal.
Best weekly chart of, I can't remember a time that I've seen something like this, but the IPO break, this breakout trade would have been pretty nice. No, it's obviously at the point now with SNDK. It had the last night was one of those NVIDIA-like reports where they blew it out of the water so big that what are you going to do? Anybody that was trying to short it got rinsed, and it's so far up here. It's so hard for any trader to want to be long up top. And I do, my first gut is, man, after what we saw yesterday, is no one ringing the register when we get another 22%, as unbelievable as it is no one ringing the register. So my gut tells me that there would be some profit taking today. But in the absence of, I don't have a strict plan for it. I'd rather trade silver and Bitcoin than try to find the best short in SNDK. Because my attitude has been, if I keep thinking it's at some kind of a top, at least I haven't found a good short setup, which is saving you a bunch of money. That's the other side of it. And I can't chase it up here. The 3-day rule still applies. And I usually think when we're up this much, you're going to get some profit taking when it's been this ridiculous into earnings. So that's where my brain's going to be at. I don't think it has an SMCI moment, but I do think at least some kind of a heavy dip at some point today is going to happen. Just got to be able to find it on the 15-minute, I suppose.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. We were watching this yesterday, and it was like the 630 was good, and we said that, you want to go short. I was saying to go short there, and it did print out. It got down to $600, and then, so if you're going to go short, you don't hold it through these levels. This is up 1,000%. Brendan just showed that weekly chart there, the IPO breakout level, and again, it was just a spin-off, so it wasn't a true IPO or anything. But what a name, what a monster. Just congratulations to everybody. I would obviously sell this if it was me, but if it was me, I probably would have been out at 500 bucks. So yeah, just keep doing what you guys have been doing on this stock. The traders here seem to be in full control. Short float is existent, but doesn't really matter in this situation. A slight little pullback I would think would be acceptable in this. There's really no levels to look at for me. So I think you just try to let it settle down if that's even possible for SNDK. I mean, this is what it did all afternoon waiting for earnings. So it's not like it doesn't always have to move around. But yeah, violent moves, it will follow the market. You know, yesterday you had a pretty good dip down early on. And then just like, I don't know if there's an ETF specifically for memory names, but like Micron and Western Digital. Western Digital sort of going the other way today off of their report. But Micron could also pull back just a little bit. I mean, but yeah, this is also getting that sort of SanDisk bump. So yeah, I don't really have too much to say about these names because I've traded them before, and I just remember trading Micron like double digits, you know, and now it's 500 bucks. So like these names just continue to fly high, and just reminds me a little bit honestly of like well, it doesn't remind me. It's exactly the same as like these nuclear quantum plays, and they've all come back to earth just a little bit.
Randy, thank you, brother.
Thank you, Randy.
Friday.
Any plans this weekend there?
Stay warm.
No ice fishing or anything? No. Too cold.
It's easily too cold for that.
Is it too cold for ice fishing? I don't even know. If that's if you guys,
well, first of all, I always think it's too cold for ice fishing. Something the wrong person asked.
I've been getting, I feel like a lot of chills lately. Like honestly, it's like
I can't get.
I'm not even getting sick. It's just like I can't get the feeling. Went into the car today. It was minus 24. You said minus 24.
With the wind chill,
I had minus 22. Yeah. So heated seats. Yeah. The best part is I just have my car scheduled, so like every day at a certain time it just starts to heats up, and then but it takes like it's not plugged in, so it drains like 10% of the battery warming up and everything, and then just come in here and plug it in. Thanks for hooking up the electricity downstairs. All right.
Nobody uses it but you. Speaking of
literally nobody uses it but me.
And electric cars, that was an entirely intentional segue to Tesla.
I just want to say that you might be onto something here. Christmas 10/21. Randy's hands in pockets, sell signal. We're gonna try to remember that. So if Randy comes with his hands in his pocket, let's figure out what the market. We're trying to get any edge we can get. Any edge we can get. Silver moving around, boy, again. Oh, what? Randy just left, man. It's Tesla time. Okay, 4 minutes left, Brandon. Let's talk about Tesla, then something about Microsoft.
Wild yesterday, downside initially, and then the big pop after the close. Will he or won't he do a low-key merger here before we go public for SpaceX?
You gotta love this. So 2 different variables here. Let's talk about the first one. SpaceX possibly in discussions to merge with XAI. And that, SpaceX IPO later this year. We were talking about that yesterday. Possibly $1.5 trillion. That would kind of bring rockets, Starlink, social media, Grok, all under one umbrella, creating that vertical integration he's coveted for so long. The deal's value, timing, and structure do remain uncertain. And then, if that wasn't enough, Tesla has also been floated as a possible merger partner with either SpaceX or XAI, or even both. And then the market odds and these prediction markets, they got to chime in, Brenda. I mean, of course, this is a great opportunity. They're predicting, Polymarket that is assigning a 48% probability of SpaceX and AI merging by mid-year, and only a 16% probability for Tesla and XAI to kind of merge. So we'll have to see how this all goes.
I mean, if you think about what we've been talking about for the past couple of months here, like the narrative shifting more and more in that direction, towards robotics, towards the rockets, towards AI, this makes perfect sense.
Absolutely.
And then you leave Tesla, on the curb for a later date where he can just walk away entirely, potentially.
Exactly. And I want to mention one thing. I mean, he said this kind of off the cuff, but you got to take him at his word, maybe not timeline-wise, but with intent-wise. He wants to put these data centers in space. So if he wants to do that, it would make more sense, likely, that XAI and SpaceX team up so that he can get free energy and no cooling.
I'm buying it. I'm definitely buying it. Here we go, guys. Back higher right now for Tesla. What do we do today?
You're definitely buying the robot. Is that what it was, Brendo?
Brandon.
Oh, the IPO. Oh, okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure if we were talking about.
I still think Brandon will be the first person to have an Optimus here. I'll say it till the cows come home. That's like absolute guarantee. I'm talking about in our office. Tesla, look, it may not be exactly 420, but it's that area. 418. We closed just underneath that, but the 418 to 420 level I was looking like dip and rip on Tesla. I do like the story. I think we were talking about this with Destiny. It's just a good way for people to maybe now consider ways to buy into the SpaceX effect. And it's not a guarantee that it happens, but as I said, you're already paying a premium to be in Destiny if you want to get SpaceX. So it's no different from in some ways investing here. So yeah, I like Tesla to the long side. We didn't get a chance to talk about IBIT, but very briefly, Bitcoin stinks. Bitcoin's in trouble. And until proven otherwise, it's like one of these days, Bitcoin short's going to lose. Fair enough. But until that day, I'm shorting Pops. First spot 47.8 on IBIT is where I'm looking.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say sort of the same thing there about Tesla and buying that IPO and checking it out. I really think it's going to be interesting to get that merge. So we only have 1 minute left before we don't necessarily have to go over the Microsoft story. Do you want to talk about it quickly there, Brendan, or? Okay, yeah, so just quickly here, Microsoft, the worst day in 6 years, like yesterday. This is what we're looking at early. There's not much going on here on the imbalance locator, so we'll puff pass on that one. Silver almost right away is going to be at a look for me. There's that 88 level. I want to see if we break that low, where do we go? So $88, looking at that, and if we do bump up, I'm going to use the 200 period 94 to have a quick look over there on SLV. I know, call me crazy going short on silver, but we'll try it through that 88, and then if it doesn't work, that is an easy out almost immediately. So here we go, man. Brought to you by PDS Biotechnology. Thank you so much to them. Make sure you do scan the QR code and check the link in description to find out more about PDS Bio. So yeah, I am going to try that short. Breaking on silver, and if it happens, it happens. And honestly, if it doesn't, it doesn't. And that's what I'm going to be looking for. So here we go, right off the jump here. Silver, watch out to see where we go on SLV. And then other than that, man, SoFi just made a move down into 25 as well.
Bouncing.
Is Tesla? Okay, so that would be a good look too for Tesla. I said the 420 long. I don't know if we got down there though.
No, we didn't get down to 420. There was no dip. The dip was obviously not in the open market, it's in the pre-market, and now you're testing 427. You already mentioned SoFi, but remember AMD, the story is speculation that there could be a chip delay. I haven't seen anywhere to be able to confirm that, but that is the speculation online. It is bouncing off some of the lows that got made. Down 5% on the session. The other name, obviously, SNDK on earnings. That's not really flying around. The first move was initially down.
Well, the Nasdaq is ripping.
But the market's going higher. Nvidia's going up. Tesla's going up. Looking like strength so far. I can tell you what didn't just go.
Is Apple going?
That's a huge reversal. I just saw this out of the corner of one of my charts. Intel went up to $49.
What?
Exactly $49, and just pulled back 80 pennies in one shot. So that's a pretty big false breakout on Intel. Usually, you do a false break on a Friday, it turns into an all-day short. 40, this wasn't even on my list. 40, 65 or so, this just pops back up. That's a false break. I think Intel is turning into a short. I kind of felt this would be what IBIT would do.
Yeah, well, IBIT actually is doing it a little bit. Yeah, IBIT, well, it didn't go all the way up.
It didn't go all the way up.
It is coming back in, trying to break through those lows. All right, man, I'm still trying to watch silver to see if I can get a little bit of a feel on how this thing is moving, and it's not, it hasn't really done much. It's done kind of silver-like things, but here it goes now, starting to go back up to the upside. So, like I said, if it broke that low, then we were trying to go with it, try to play that momentum that way. I wasn't really feeling down 15% that I really wanted to punch the long here in SLV, so yeah, not much to see here. VWAP obviously 91.50. That could be a play to look a little short, but no, I don't want to. It's that whole thing again. Let's not sit here and try to figure out exactly what's happening. Let's wait for something to happen on silver, and if that does break that 88, then I'm interested. Top end side of 94 maybe somewhere gets me excited as well, but that's most likely the thing that's coming in. There's 94 and your 200 period moving average, so that would be something to look at. I don't think I'm quite ready to short it yet, but VWAP is an interesting level. So I'm going to just move off of that a little bit right now. This was down almost 6% at one point here, AMD, right? It just bounced nicely off of this 235, up $6 now for AMD as it gets right back into VWAP again. And we don't know the story here. I was looking for a short to begin with. We did good. We did well on the short yesterday. Doesn't necessarily mean that the short's going to come out today, but that's 242 there, an interesting level for advanced micro devices. We could potentially look there. Should have just shorted 240 on VWAP, but you know VWAP is 241, so I actually wind up missing that as well. So yeah, we're going to have to give this a little bit of a moment to breathe. I still like that 242 if it can come in, 50-period moving average and the top. Whoa, yeah, I mean, as it was written, we had SoFi. I think both of us talked about what happens in bank stock land, and unfortunately,
they always sell the open.
It was up 6%, man, and we were like, yeah, SoFi. And then this happened, so I don't know now.
It was fine when this happened last quarter. Just keep that in mind. They fell for a few days, and then we were right back to the highs a week later.
I'm gonna try it.
So you just have to be patient with SoFi. So Intel actually broke 48. So that's within $1.20 to the downside after that big breakout. I'm still sitting originally at the $0.50 to play it in front of this high. If it doesn't get here, I might just take the lower high somewhere around the volume weighted average price of the quarters. I like each quarter level is kind of a good area on Intel, but I'm trying to let it get to me.
There we go.
Back into the upside. And then the other thing is Bitcoin is now trying to go higher, but it's like 70 pennies away on IBIT from where I wanted to short.
All right, we finally have first position taken at SoFi. We just talked about it. It got into our level. We take some out at O's. We'll take another piece out right now at O's. Well, it's 99s, and we'll see if it falls down in, man. I'm just going to try to use basically this low as our out. So if we break through 24, let's call it 24 quarter, then we will dumpity dump on SoFi. What's up, Adara?
I have to address the AMD of it all. I looked into it, and I know you guys mentioned this earlier, but I should make it very clear. The only thing I'm seeing, and I'm seeing a lot of it, is people either jokingly or seriously saying that this is dropping because of the Jim Cramer long call, saying that they keep winning. So again, very likely not the truth, but the fact that that's the only thing I'm seeing makes me think that no one else has any idea why this is moving either. So I just wanted to address there with AMD. We do have some economic data at 9:45 a.m., namely Chicago PMI. So in 10 minutes, or maybe earlier, you will see me again here at that Chicago PMI. Back to you.
Yeah, I kind of saw the same.
Here goes SoFi. Yeah, you had mentioned that right away, and I sort of like pushed it to the side, but I mean, Adara's searching for it. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Thanks, Adara. If she finds anything else, obviously, now you know.
It's a weird thing because I always feel way better if something's popping parabolically on news and you're like, oh, but there's nothing happening on the stock. It's so much psychologically easier to short something when there's no news and it's popping than to just buy the dip when there is no news.
AMD's ripping back up.
But again, if you think about it, stocks usually go up. It shouldn't be that way psychologically, but it is.
I still like, so the only position obviously that, you're in Intel, but the only position that I've been looking at is SoFi so far. And like it fell in, it almost got us out again of this trade. Like just trying to, like we're long at 66 here. We shouldn't, probably took a little too many shares maybe at 70, but I'm happy with where we got it at 50. Like that was for me the level right into here. So if we wind up losing this bid here on SoFi, then we'll just chalk it up to a try and not a good one. I honestly, the more members, the more people involved with SoFi, the banking charter, just everything that they reported, I really like the stock. I don't know what's going on with Robinhood. We sort of was looking over there as well today. The fact that they were being considered for all of those Trump accounts, that's something for SoFi and Robinhood. I mean, it'd be nice if SoFi was being considered there as well. Maybe they are, but that's what Robinhood's doing. And then there's AMD kind of doing its thing, bouncing back upside right now. So good on you, AMD. It looks like you might be the one there. I was talking about shorting that 242, but again, with momentum now hitting the market, AMD looks like it wants to get upside, so we might as well just wait. There, see, I can't get my mouse again. Up to 247, 248. So we'll have to wait to see if there's anything there. Yeah, I wonder if there's a way that we can like make it not go back to our back monitors in the middle of the day.
I would like that to be able to turn it off. So anyway. It's just if you're wondering what the heck Sean and I are talking about, when we do the aftermarket show, like our PCs get mirrored to these screens, and so of course. It's like the same screens over there, and then you lose your mouse configuration.
I'm about to lose SoFi here.
So Intel, too early, picking that $0.50. Waited till it made a topping tail candle, up at the prior high, which is what I should have been going off of. But just because I had a bad initial entry, I can't change the way I'm getting out of it, which is to pull back into VWAP. So I got to take some out in front of VWAP because that's the structure of the trade. IBIT is still going, Bitcoin is still going higher, I should say, not IBIT. IBIT's what I'm looking at. But it hasn't really broken out yet. So there's been nothing parabolic. I'm waiting for it to get somewhere into this 47.75. Spot prices are at 83, so it'll be more like 84. I think it needs to get to about 84, 84 change, something along those lines. And then Tesla, there might not be a dip to be had here on Tesla. It's still gliding higher and kind of framing towards a breakout, which I don't want to break out today. I don't want to take any even dollar breakouts on Friday. I think any big optional level usually false breaks the first time. So if it holds trend, I'll probably go for like some kind of trend dip buy. And then silver is the other thing we got to pay close attention to. I'm just waiting for an obvious trend on the 15 to revert, just like the last 3 days. That's what's worked for me. It's not there yet because I don't really include the pre-market. Because again, the best ones have been after it's settled down, 15, 30 minutes in sometimes on SLV. We got a super chat about JP Morgan, but I haven't looked at the banks. You know, we didn't even talk about Chevron and XOM either.
Oh, yeah, we didn't even. Why was that not on our board there? We did not talk any oil
XOM
whatsoever. We had the two major oil names reported, but so much going on there. Yeah. Well, I own them all with XLE, but
well,
XLE's been an absolute breaker.
So Control Alt Escape. We love JPM. Still going, lads. Bosch.
I love some JPM.
Okay.
Oh. It's not really going.
Okay,
up 0.6.
I mean, it's kind of flat right now. No, I like we like the dip buy in the banks. I like Morgan Stanley a little bit better. That's also doing nothing here today. Well, the market's going up. Maybe it's more tech related because wow, we're absolutely blasting. Thank goodness we had that stop on Intel. It's back to 49.
Is it? Okay.
Back to 49. Like if you give it to the high, sometimes it's just not even worth giving something to the high of day. That's a new thing. A lot of times if I'm reverting and short on the way back up, the high of the day is almost like a trap. Like have a tighter stop, and then if it fails the high, then you can get back in. So now that's up 1%, and what's AMD doing? And AMD's almost back to where it started.
Yep.
I mean, one of those days, huh, AMD?
It sure is. All right, so SNDK made a move to 640. Now it's 655. So it's just moving upside right now for SNDK. It does make a downside play, and now nothing but love. See you. Wow. This is like, that was just 250. I just talked about it 250. Now it's 258. Now it's 259. Or sorry, 259. Now it's 660, 659. This just keeps. Sorry, I put a 2 in front of it. That was last week. But here we go, 660 now for SNDK. It was just at 640. So that's just a huge move on this move up on the market. And same kind of way about how you feel about Intel, I feel about SoFi. Like, good thing we got out of it. Like, there it goes. You know, sold a little bit there at 25 when it first. Oh, come on, cursor. When it first bumped up there into 25, then there's the move down. There goes SoFi, nice downside push again, all the way to that. So we're going to figure out now what's going on with SoFi, of course. And yeah, leave it alone now. You know, if you guys are looking for the long here on SoFi, this is just a 1-minute chart. You know, yesterday's bottom we've already breached. And like, that was a bad move yesterday in the market. So you know, pick it up, man. You're getting to that $22 mark. That's the 50 period, or sorry, the 200 period moving average. All right, Tesla making moves as well. Here, another name that, you know, sort of we had talked about today on that sort of, you know, it's day 2 earnings play, so it's not, you know, necessarily the be all end all here, but a nice move down up to 430, down to 424 goes Tesla right now. But yeah, just trying to play a little calm right now. The market is taking out near highs, but that probably was a good buy, the 200 period moving average right there on Tesla. So we'll have to wait to see what happens now if it comes back into that 420, let's call it 423 flat maybe would be your out, but buy some dips at 424 using 423. I think I'm going to try that there on Tesla, but it's 942 right now, so getting a better feel for what this market wants to do. Yeah, Tesla down there at 423 isn't a horrible spot.
You've got USAR bouncing huge right now. Shout out to Yatube37, was just checking MP. So anybody, if you tell me USAR is up, the first place I'm going to look is MP Materials because I have it. But USAR, it's a nice reverse. This is a perfect reversal area right at 23, not because of the GOAT, Michael, but just because it's where the support was before. Like, it's been a bad week for these stocks in the entire group. There was some concern that that minimum price level was not going to get upheld by the government on rare earths, and that kind of got walked back. Like it wasn't entirely true, but there might be some truth to it. So you're getting a nice relief rally. I don't know why I have 25. I do remember why I have 25.5. It was this little gap in here. So I think if this gets to 25.5, that's been a good resistance level. I don't know why I wasn't paying attention on this day to it. That's a good reversal level, but you got room to get there for sure. But the way the market started out today, I just feel like the lowest hanging fruit for myself is going to be Bitcoin if I'm looking for a pop and fade. Like if I'm gonna, it's like if you're losing on a short, I feel like this is the one that's been worth it. And as we're starting to get higher, waiting for this 47.7 here, as we're now at 83.5K.
I'm
style.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I'm never gonna stop showing this cat. This cat is something else, man. Like honestly, now it's hanging out in the carry bag here. Like I don't know, just this has been amazing. She comes on her name and everything now. It's just been an amazing journey there as the cat is back. All right, I'm going long right now at 24. So 424, we should be able to get we may be able to get a fill down here at 424. I'm just going to use 423. There it is, 423 as the out. So $1 worth of risk here to see if Tesla can climb, right? I mean, first target for the out will be VWAP, and then or whatever the 21 period. 24. Okay, nice move back up here. 425. Let's take something out. I said first out. See, this is the problem when I trade. I said first out would be 425.50, and I'm already at 425. But that little top, yeah, 425.50, not bad. Okay, well now I'm involved in the stock ahead of numbers. So let's see, maybe we can get one piece out here on Tesla. If we can get that at 425, we'll do it. We'll take $1, but we'll only try to get out of a little bit and then see if we can run from there. Over to Adara for some nummies.
Obviously, we had that harder than expected PPI earlier today. This number not going to be as closely watched, but U.S. Chicago PMI 43.7 is the forecast. Previous print 43.5. We have 10 seconds until we get this number. So again, we are expecting a slight uptick here, 43.7 versus the prior print of 43.5. In 2 and 1, we're going to get this number, just waiting for it to populate here. That Chicago PMI coming in at 54, so well above estimates here. Again, consensus here was around that 43.5 is what I'm seeing. We actually get it at 54, and the market not reacting too much. I'll switch to a 3-minute chart for you guys here, but market not reacting too much to that stronger than expected Chicago PMI, 54 versus the prior print of 43.5. Back to you.
Well, let's see if the market reacts well to that number. I mean, a higher PMI, not necessarily great for the market, but we'll see what winds up happening right here. We did get a piece out, obviously, as we talked about that, at that 424.80 level or so, but we're still into 70% of this one. So here we go. Looks like this one will lose the bid as well as the market's getting a little weaker. I'm only in this for $1. So here we go. If it does break 423s, make sure my order's there, yes, then we're going to get out. So here it comes again. Not too much luck on that number there. And we always say, like, if you're into, there it goes. If you're into a spot in a number, maybe just like give it a little bit of a room there, because you don't want that number to be horrible and then bang, tank to the downside. So just before that number came out, we were able to get out a little bit there. And there's the break of 423 out on Tesla. So not great rate there, but I think it was worth a shot for TSLA on day 2 earnings. So a little dangerous there. SoFi still at $24, but I kind of think I like the long on SoFi at some point here today. It was a good report. It has gotten beat up just a little bit there. Let's see if SoFi can't get going. Maybe a break of this 21 period to change momentum a little bit for SoFi, but of course Tesla's right back upside now, so maybe we tuck the bottom wick there. Let's wait to see the market trying to bounce as well.
Yeah, the market doing not a heck of a lot. It's individual names that are going to be the story. So topping tail and IBIT here, so trying to get the short in the 30s, the low 30s. But look at the Nasdaq. So false break of the high. It's kind of the reason, whatever, it was part of the reason I wasn't a huge fan of chasing anything up to the long side. And now you're starting to come back in. What's Intel doing? Intel's too far to the downside. But Apple, unfortunately, yeah, Apple loses the bid. That 255, it's now resistance on Apple that we're talking about on the 15-minute. So there was your support level, muted bounce there initially, but now it's turning into resistance, which is going to be trouble if this stock is going to hold us down here. 2% down on, it's not like they're not having a Microsoft moment, but anybody show me what in that report would suggest that it should be weak. And yes, silver is now turning. This is what happens, man. Intel wasn't even on the list. I got to move one chart to Intel. When I traded, of course, it was a silver chart, and silver is breaking higher on the trend line. But you know what? If I come in bearish, so if my thought is bearish, then my preferred reversion is let it trend up and then short. And I'm bearish on silver. So yes, this obviously would have worked, and I probably should have it because that's what I said. But on a 15-minute chart, I'd like to go in the direction that I'm favoring, and I am favoring short on this. So now you're getting an uptrend. Not yet, but you're starting a potential one. Like, you would have to hold this, give me 3 points, and then we've got one. I'm only in IBIT. That's the only position we're in, but silver is starting to look at least a little bit interesting on that 15-minute.
All right, if you are a savvy Canadian trader and you're looking to boost your exposure, you can now tap into the Nasdaq 100 and the S&P 500 with Beta Pro 3 times daily levered ETFs featuring built-in FX hedging. This aims to amplify short-term market moves, minimizing the impact of currency swings. Whether you're feeling bullish
that's right.
or potentially bearish, these ETFs are built for you, the active day trader. Read the full risk disclosure in the prospectus at betapro.ca before investing. So thank you to Beta Pro for that.
By the way, we're working on the position board.
Okay.
Apologies. I didn't notice that it wasn't working. Sometimes we're looking at our own stuff. So it is not working right now because it's
definitely not working.
No, because there was a moment when I think we just both gotten out of something. I just figured we weren't in position. But if it didn't show, like, I'm into IBIT, I'm actually about to reload it. So if they get a fill here,
Tesla's going back up.
Okay, yeah, it's obviously not working because I just took another fill. I got the other fill in the 30s here, so 47. I got 33 short. Larry Bird action. There was a GOAT debate happening in the chat, by the way, and I liked one thing. One thing I agree with wholeheartedly. There is way too much GOAT talk. People keep throwing around like greatest of all time.
Yeah, because it's Scotty Barnes, right? Why is everybody talking about somebody else?
Like way too easily. Like the whole point is there should only be like a few names, because someone said like Steph Curry in basketball.
No, well, his name doesn't come up in that conversation.
Like it's arguable. I make an argument. Best point guard of all time. I think I could put him number 2 after Magic. That's reasonable. But the best player of all time is kind of ridiculous. And I don't think he'd even say it himself. But even Michael Jordan didn't want to be called the GOAT. He's like, I don't think I'm the GOAT. He literally said that. He's like, you can't compare eras. It's like, what's the greatest stock of all time?
NVIDIA.
What's the greatest company of all time? Could be Standard Chartered. Like there's like old companies from like 100 years ago that probably statistically you can make the argument for.
Yeah.
And it's hard.
I mean, that's the only thing that you can for sure say is Wayne Gretzky is the GOAT.
It's he's probably the only one where it's so ridiculous. There's no comparison.
There's nobody there.
He was
but then I mean, look, LeBron has accomplished unbelievable. So both of those guys, like, if you're ever going to have, greatest players, I think that's something to be considered there for those two. Okay. All right. Yeah. Muhammad Ali. Actually, that might be another one.
But if you're a hardcore boxing fan,
which I don't
in
think
the ring,
is here, but.
Sugar Ray Robinson was probably pound for pound a better boxer than Muhammad Ali. I love Muhammad Ali, my dad's favorite boxer of all time. But Sugar Ray Robinson was unreal.
Yeah, I think Muhammad Ali would probably be consensus GOAT though on that one. All right, SoFi just still moving down. Like I said, this is why earnings, man, cannot be overlooked on any day, right? It's like you never know where your positioning is going to be once this market opens up, right? Like real money eventually flows in. And what I mean by real money is like these are the speculative buyers, right? That think that SoFi had a good report, which they did. It's not, there's no question about the numbers, but what does that leave the stock as a whole, right? Does it match up with the PEs that people have as their forward expectations for SoFi, right? I mean, I don't know, but they sold this off. I don't know if there was a big hedge on here or something, but I was not expecting this. SoFi's down 10% now. Like it was up 7% at its highs when we first talked about it, and now it's down 2.5. So you're almost breaching the 10% intraday. And it's not intraday really, it's from the pre-market, but $26 is where we opened. We're at $23.50 right now. Yuck for you, SoFi. I really like this stock, and I think if there's one name that I may be buying off out of all these earnings so far, would probably be SoFi. Let it settle down. We talked about Microsoft maybe with a nice buy and a generational move yesterday on Microsoft. All right, so you were in Intel, but
I am still.
you still are in it.
I
Okay.
actually I took another fill and it's still not working. I'm about to get another fill and
I haven't taken anything
it's
since Tesla.
still not working. So apologies for position board. We are restarting it right now. I did get a refill at 47.30. It was 34, but I had 32s and 34, so obviously my average price is going to be 33 in that situation. That's why I said Larry Bird, and that's where the GOAT thing happened. He's not. But then into prior high, always first outs, and then volume weighted average price. Looking for some continuation on IBIT, but we don't want to sleep on SLV because it's right into, I'm not trusting my VWAP. I'm going to work with the trend lines. One of the reasons why I'm like, this early in the day, I don't like my volume weighted average price because it's reacting to some of those crazy dark pool wicks. Silver moved a lot overnight, so see how the VWAP shifted? It didn't actually trade up there. So that might not be VWAP. I don't care. I just want to see it break the trend, confirm that we're underneath, and then jump into the short. So IBIT's going, Intel, who cares? And SNDK, I know this is going to be a super popular one for everybody. The profit taking is starting to come in. There's your false break. It's holding underneath VWAP. Nothing crazy yet. Still up 17.5%, obviously. But yeah, there's some profit taking. While the market's holding out some strength, SanDisk is trying to pull back. And we did get a super chat, which.
Yeah, I'm taking shares, by the way.
Oh, there we go.
It's definitely not working.
This is about the goats. Mac.
I'm not sure
Pele,
Tiger Woods either.
Michael Schumacher, Tiger Woods.
I really like Tiger Woods. I mean, there's so many good names that we can talk about.
Good.
All right, so I'm not...
GOAT trading movie for me is we said it the other day, is Rogue Trader.
Yeah. For me, I really like watching Wolf of Wall Street just because I feel like there's some sort of comedic aspect there. And there's some girl in that's,
Never heard of her.
Never heard of her. She's something else.
What's her name?
I can't remember. I think his name is Marissa Katina. I think that's who it is. But there it is, man. 428.
Well,
nice move to the upside here. Here we go. Let's go. 427.20. So you can't see this, but we're $2 in right now on Tesla. We know we got dumped out there. I'm trying to focus on specific names, and we will run over. I mean, we've literally covered many names for you here today, but sometimes you look left and you miss a trade. So I do want to make sure that we have this for sure. The GOAT Charlie Sheen, that's a good one. Okay, nice move there, 427 in change. Maybe the GOAT for radio, Howard Stern. I don't know. I'm just spitballing now as we have some moments here. All right, let's look at silver just real quick. Again, good move right to VWAP. I think this was honestly very, very close for me pushing that button. I was waiting for this move right here into the 200 period just to see the action around it. We didn't wind up pushing it there, but if it does come back up to this 93 level, I think that's a decent area. And I still don't mind this 88 short, by the way, either. For silver, if it does come back in, because we are battling through VWAP right now. It doesn't seem to want to break that. So yeah, we understand that, guys. The position board is, it's minus 20 degrees right now, and the position board is not a fan of the cold.
It was like my train that got canceled this morning.
Right, oh, did it?
Oh, my train got canceled.
Would you take a bus, or?
The train, no, so I take the first train out.
Oh, okay, so and
then I was on the second one. The one after the one I got on also was canceled. So basically, the only train that could have even gotten me in was the one that worked out. It's because of the cold.
There we go. That was the position board right there. It was just frozen up. We just showed it on there. Yeah, it was the frozen position board.
How about
that? Right there.
Look,
we can announce our positions.
No,
are you in anything?
I'm short IBIT 47.34, just like before. We can always just continue to show it. I did just
now $3 in on Tesla.
Miss silver, however. Silver looks like it did curl. I didn't grab that short fast enough. But I'm looking for a reload. It's either going to be wait for it to get back to the top, or play some kind of a lower high under the volume weighted average price, which we do like. And yeah, so if you're watching silver, I think we both showed it. It did break the trend, heavy drop. It broke the trend line and then dropped $1 on that candle. That's the tricky thing with silver on a mean reversion or any kind of reversion, is at the moment that it does it, it's just gonna fly. So if you have, if you're stopping at the prior bar, are you gonna chase it an extra $1? So then you're risking twice as much. I tend not to do so. I don't like adjusting the risk parameters of it if I have to. Yeah,
no.
Coming back in.
That's the one thing about silver. That's what I was mentioning. That's what I was saying. That's sort of that comment with Joe there. It's like, you know, you got to be able to watch this thing and focus on it, because like you'll miss big moves that you would have had if you were looking at it. And not to say you would have had it for sure, but yeah, just be very, very careful with that one. So I'm in Tesla. We've been getting some out. It is falling back in a little bit. My best outs are 427.50s, maybe even a little bit higher than that, right into that sort of pre-market level. I'm waiting for more. My stop out is going to be this bottom wick. So now that we finally made an area, I'm going to use this to 423 or so and try to maybe average into this one. On the sticky note today was also, first of all, we had AMD short. We have Tesla long at 420. That almost got there. We have SMCI short through through 30 bucks. But see, there's my wick. Honestly, I get more frustrated not in the trades, but in the technology, because this cursor is going to be a problem for me. But I wrote that down when it was down here. And all of a sudden, SMCI made this move higher and didn't really do any volume. And even right now, it's not really doing anything. So I was about to short this move right here on SMCI, this breakdown, to see if we get back into 29. So that's something to consider, again, for SMCI. I don't know if that's where I really want to look, though, right now. It's just there's not as much happening. Like, that would have been a good short, but this is written on the note. So I did have a 30 short. If you like it, I could say that now you have a nice top there. Give yourself 30 cents. I think it works, but there's just not enough action in the name right now for me to, like, go over there and say, let's focus on SMCI. So not going to do that right now, but that is something to look at because it was on the list. I always like going back to the list because I made it for a reason, and that was that these were names that I wanted to look.
I'm hating my list right now.
Yeah, and I hate my list most days, but
no, it's because I usually listen to it.
Yeah, and oh well, we might get a look at this in, here for Neil's list there. But there it is, man. There's the push down. Yeah, man, it's so frustrating because like I had the other day 190 written on Tesla or on NVIDIA, went to like 189.80 and then ripped back up and we missed it. But yeah, SoFi is just really, really sad. Like I thought we had a good winner on this.
It always does.
I don't know, man.
I think we'll be fine. What's going to happen is
Santa
we'll look
Claus
back
won't be
next
coming
week.
this year.
We do this every time on SoFi earnings, and then we come back a week later, and we usually feel pretty good about the stock. We'll go to Palantir in a second. The only reason I'm usually pretty good about this, but I said 49.25. Neither of these transactions are anywhere near that price on Intel. And then the breakout is if it's 15, it's over on the 15-minute. Well, did I look at the 15-minute chart? No, I didn't. I traded without going to the higher time frame, which is always a bad idea. On the higher time frame, there's that top. There's the wick at the 15-minute when it breaks trend. So that's the only place worth being short is up here. And now if I'm trying to catch the bounce back higher, I can try a lower high here at like 49. That could make a little bit of sense. But as far as Palantir goes, remember, Palantir reports on Monday. Okay, so like your pre-earnings report here, and on the weekly chart of Palantir, it's about this 146, 147, that's support on the weekly, not the daily. It's a huge and monstrous level, but it doesn't matter whether if it's that high of a time frame, it's irrelevant whether it breaks it for a half an hour in the morning. It's what happens tonight in the afternoon. Like I'll care more about that level in the close than I will the open because it's on such a high time frame. So I'm not calling that level a bounce spot at all at that low because I don't think it matters too much when you're looking at the weekly chart. So again, the only thing I'm in is IBIT. It's now consolidating off of VWAP. Still looking for the opening range low, but I haven't found a way to reload this position just yet. Oh, and guess what? Feed is still going right back up to the highs. That $5 break still potentially in play. It's trending up. It's above VWAP. Look, this stock has broken VWAP before and then just not cared. So it seems to even break that rule. Like it can trade under VWAP and still make a new high. And it did so earlier. This one's just asking for a $5 break, but for now, it hasn't done it yet. It's already time for happening now. Let's go to Adara.
Quite a lot happening now. We had a pretty massive day when it comes to earnings, either after the bell yesterday or before the bell today. We'll get into that in a second, but in the meantime, I just want to show you guys this market here, that 15-minute chart. As you can see, we get this top right off the open. Right now, not really able to eclipse that level, but certainly not a weak start to the day to the S&P 500, especially compared to the bloodbath we had yesterday morning. Now, one of the biggest things we had announced this morning just before 7 a.m., U.S. President Donald Trump coming out and naming Kevin Warsh as his pick or nominee here for the new Fed chair position to replace Fed Chair Powell. So interesting look, of course, for Kevin Warsh, that's going to be a story to watch going forward here. We also had PPI, hotter than expected across the board, and Chicago PMI actually higher than expected as well. Let's talk here about AAPL, probably the biggest earnings name after the bell here today. They did beat expectations in their China revenue, notably ending a trend of year-over-year decline specifically for fiscal Q1 in China for Apple. So nice look for AAPL, the company. The stock, though, not reacting quite as rosily as you might expect with these numbers, though, right now, trying to bounce off of lows. We also had SNDK, definitely one to watch here. We gapped up and actually reached intraday high just below 680, currently trading around 610s for SanDisk. They did have, of course, a double beat and guiding better than expected. They're still up 13% on the day, guys, so this isn't by any means a total mess, but certainly below these highs. We'll take a look here at AMD. This one was popping earlier. Catalyst was unclear, though some people were speculating it could have been one of those joking revert Jim Cramer plays because he called this one a long. Other tech names on watch include Microsoft and Tesla. Both on watch here after earnings had kind of rough earnings day ones, though Microsoft, of course, recovering into the close. Let's see how these tech names fare. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you're enjoying the content. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Adara, for that one. So again, we're working on the position board, that is for sure. So I'm in a new position, so we'll just hit this. Well, SoFi's been flushing, but this is what I meant to hit. We finally, and I thought, again, not a big amount of shares or anything like that. I was thinking like this is the 21 period moving average. I have it on here for a reason. Generally speaking, like a trend change kind of a situation. We haven't broke through it yet. I'll give you an example right here. Here's Apple. I wasn't looking at it, but probably should have. There's the move down on Apple. Serenity now. Where's my cursor? There it is. There's the move down on Apple. There's the break of the 21 period. There's the move back up, right? AMD again, same kind of a thing. There's the move down. There's the break higher, right? And so I don't, if it works on SoFi, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. We're going to use the low right there to get out, and we'll take it. Where's my stop? The stop is at 60s. So it'll be a 25-cent hit or so, exactly a 25-cent hit. If it does break below its low. Right now, I'm not going to average in. If the move doesn't work, the move simply doesn't work. So right now, I'm long on Tesla, which Tesla's a good one, man. It's $1. And, we lost 50, 60 cents initially on Tesla on that first break of the 200 period. And we didn't have a bottom area there. So I was playing on that wick. Now we're just going to play basically on this wick, 2250 or so, right back into here. If we break, I don't even want to hold it all the way to 421.80. I'm just going to play a break of this momentum to the downside. Here comes 427. I'm actually sitting at 427. So maybe we get that kind of a fill, and then we can, okay, go. Maybe we can get that, and then upside since off of that play. So right now I'm in two positions. It's long Tesla, 2480s. There it is. We get that fill, so that's a $2 winner. So we'll go like that, and then now here goes. All right, let's take a little piece out here. For this, we'll take out 10% at 93s. Did we get it? Yes, we did. So there it is. Trying to make a little bit of this money back here on SoFi. Let's see if we can. Let's let it mature up a little bit. Maybe it gets back to some of these. Maybe it gets back to some of these levels. Honestly, 2420 right there. I need some anger management classes, man. All right, 2420. We're going to wait to see where that goes from here. But Tesla's moving, SoFi's moving. Those are my two positions that I'm in. Let us know in the chat, guys, if anything's going on for you, because Neil and I are obviously a little busy with what we're doing, and we are working. Of course, I want to thank Fabian and everybody that's working on the position board. We understand that it's down. So if you are joining us for the first time, normally we'll have all of our positions up there. So Neil and I will do our best to give you. So people asking, what am I long SoFi? I mean, it's right here, 2380. Sorry, 2380, 450, probably 2385. So just that break right there. We took it on this 21 period, breaking higher. There it goes, now through 24. I'm out of 12% so far. So I did a 5, I did a 10, and then a 2.5. So I get 2.5 at 24, the 10 for the first move, and then here we go. I do have an offer for another piece here, another 10% at 09, which we just got missed. So hopefully that will fill it. There it is. That will fill up, and now we wait for a bigger move here. And by the way, we are now $5 in the money right now on Tesla. So let's put an offer there and see if we can get that out. Yeah, buddy. Here we go, man. We're back, baby. It's Tesla, nice move to the high side there. SoFi, nice move. Double barrel longs over on this side. I don't know if you want to let people know what you're at. I can't even see what
I got out break even of my IBIT the last quarter. So we got all the way to VWAP. Look for the low of the day, obviously. So 1 for 2. We'll be flat on the day, up one, down on the other is what it is. But silver is starting to come back into the upside. That's the one I got to watch out for here, because it did give you the mean reversion all the way to effectively the low of the day, and now it's trying to trend back up. So if it gets into VWAP again, that's where I'd look to put on the sell position if we're even able to get it there. I know that feedstock has broken that $5 level, but it's having some trouble with it initially. So that small cap gapper, this has been obviously all week long, and we'll probably talk more about them here. Feed did literally just break the $5 level as we speak. Super, super strong one. Unfortunately, the market's going, and the missed opportunity was Apple back through that support level of 255. So it looks like it is going to hold that one out. But if we're doing a reversion, the only thing that's giving you a reversion right now is Palantir. Like in this moment, Palantir just broke the trend line, which I will have to redraw, because every time I save a trend line, my chart decides it doesn't like me. So you'll probably see me redrawing a lot of my trend lines. But Palantir just broke the trend on the 3-minute, so it ends up holding that double bottom. And again, because on the higher time frame, it's a weekly chart level, I don't think that's like a traditional support that you just buy out in front of. So the entry for me has to be something structured, like there's the break of the trend line, and there is the long. The prior bar is way down here, so the prior bar high is where the out's going to be at 148.14. The long's at about the half, just underneath the half.
Yeah, good look there on
Gotta see the price because you guys don't see.
Yeah, so we just got we got a 430, we got a 427, 429.70 right there as we try to get a little lighter on Tesla. Okay, we'll figure out where it's going though. And this was a fail. So this got to 24. We got out at 9s. That's good. It does go to 13s or 14s there on SoFi. I'm still in this for this play. So if it does break down below, I'm not going to average into it. We thought this could be a momentum changer there for SoFi. Hopefully it still is. But that's still up in the
up in the air.
Sort of up in the air on good one. Up to debate whether or not SoFi wants to get going or not. Before I I just tried to get. I just did get out another piece there, by the way.
I missed another one because I did.
Tesla's wild. SNDK here. Huge move down. You know, we haven't said this that much. I don't want to say huge. I mean, you're still at 15%. Sure, it's down 10% or so from 675 high. It did just crack try to get cracked through 600. That was a nice bid. And look, there it is again. So this would be, the position board is not correct yet, but I'm going to take a fill. Here, let me take a fill right now and see if we are able to load up my positions. There it is. Yes. The position board is is wrong.
It's registering
it's reversed.
The fill. No, it's registering the last fill. No, that's better than nothing, because at least the last fill is correct. But it's not right. I'll show you because
it's the other way around.
No, here it is.
I'm long SoFi.
No, it's giving you the last fill.
Yeah, it's giving us the last fill.
I just sold Palantir.
See, I don't know if Randy's real there or if he's like a. There, it's moving. Okay, good. Okay. Sometimes we get.
Okay, this is.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'll take another coffee.
Yes.
This is arguably in some ways worse though.
Put some Kahlua in there.
Because that's the opposite of what we have.
What was that?
Oh.
Okay.
Just very quickly, because that was literally the opposite. I had a trend break on. I've taken trend breaks every single day on Warner Brothers Discovery, so it also broke trend. Like here's this little, what's this called, a wedge pattern? I think it's supposed to be. If you're a charter market technician, this is a wedge, right? So it broke the wedge, held on to VWAP, and then revert back into the high. But it showed the sell of the long instead of the actual long position.
Right.
So that's even. By the way. They are working on the position board. Obviously.
Yeah, it's not right.
But if there was a new version of the software, which I logged into today, and I don't know if that has something to do with it, that would be on whatever. So
it shouldn't be because we have had so many updates.
Because we've had upgrades to the software before, and there was minor changes. It's an evolving platform. Like they're always adapting it and putting new features in. And I went into the new one today. I don't know if that has anything to do with it. We'll find out. But I am in that WBD to the long side. And silver. Just to go back to what's happening, silver's not at VWAP yet, so I'm not short this. I am looking short on the next time it gives me a mean reversion, which if it gets into 91 to 91.80 or so, that would kind of be the spot.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that we're fine here. All right. Let's just keep on looking for some other names for everybody until we get the position board going. So it doesn't really affect our trading at all. So, all right. No.
Is this?
I already said yes to the chat. Check the chat, man. I already told you my positions are correct in the chat. All right, so here's Decker's right now.
That's right.
Yeah, it's still not right for me, but that's okay. Decker's had a big number, man. I mean, it was a great, we had better than expected sales on Hoka shoes. They have Uggs as well, but Decker's Outdoor also taking out some levels today as well, up 14.5%. Okay, so I'm still long Tesla. Here it goes, man. Tesla's now trying to break through 430. That looks like a good one, man. We're long at 425, man. There's a $5 winner right now for Tesla, trying to get higher. There it goes, TSLA, higher, higher, higher. Let's take out another piece here. Watch, now it's gonna say me short Tesla. So let's just see. I'm gonna try to get out here at 429.75. That's me sitting there on Nasdaq. Yes, it's right. For me.
It's correct.
Okay, good. So the position board, Fabian, I believe, is now correct. So there's my SoFi trade there, plus the Tesla trade. So good. Thank you, Fabian, for your patience and your help on that one. Yeah, so there's SoFi. So we got another out there at 24 when it just went to that upside there. So it's going to be like a 15-cent win. We have a little more than half right now, so if it does break that low, then we will wind up, trying to be honest here, like we'll wind up down on this trade if it does break through. So we still have that stop there. We're going to be very, very specific with what we're doing. A break lower there, and we're out of SoFi. I already have the order in. And I think that's one thing that you can learn from most. Yes. Thank you. Randy.
Randy just keeping us
salute.
Fed.
Ooh, yeah, is that a comment on the feed stock? Randy, how did you like the egg sandwiches today? Bacon was, yeah, okay. I thought you were gonna go like that. They're a little greasy, I find nowadays, but yeah.
Greasy isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's not. It may not be the healthiest for you, but it is certainly incredibly tasty. Anytime, by the way, Andre. No, IBIT. So.
IBIT Wagwan.
I always have rules for entry, which is I'm looking for the topping. Oh no. I think the position board just went again. I always look for topping candles or solid entries. This time, had the break-even stop. It didn't really give a clean reload here, but obviously the same spot on IBIT is continuously working. The other thing I can now clue into, so here's the open, kind of hard to see, and then there's the higher low. So it has a chance to break under VWAP and then be a short from there as well on IBIT. So I still prefer to be short that name. A name that is probably dangerous to be short today in the last couple of days is Enview Medical, and the ticker is FEED, F-E-E-D. The company designs and markets guided feeding tube platform to hospitals across the USA today, and the majority of hospitals do this procedure blindly, and that leads to avoidable injuries from misplacements. Think of this platform as a GPS for feeding tube placement, which can streamline how care teams are able to work. And what stands out is the growing appetite for this platform throughout the US. Hospitals now, it'll have their tech fit right into their clinical needs. And today, they're already in 38 hospitals nationwide. As hospitals push for safer, more efficient solutions, Enview looks like a company building scalable technology with real-world demand behind it. Definitely one to watch. And speaking of feed, it is now, it just tagged $5.50. So another day, another rally. It is now completely broken out. Well, it probably has to close above $5, but yeah. And it's done this in 3 days. 3 sessions. We talked about it 3 days. It's gone up for 3 days in a row. And another fresh high just got made today. And the good thing about this one for small cap traders, I don't think it's done this with any halts. I'm pretty sure Feed has been doing this in an orderly fashion. I don't think there's been a single halt in this stock the last 3 days.
No, we did get stopped out there on our SoFi, but we'll go back in just a little bit now on that trade. But yeah, not a good one. Stopped out at 75% of SoFi as it's still trying to figure itself out. But what's going upside, man, is this Tesla seems to be a rocket ship today. We did have that one. We have both of these stocks that we traded on were marked down. We had SoFi initially at 25, so I think we're starting to learn a little bit now is like why once we break some of the levels that we had liked initially, we probably shouldn't make the move back into those names. So, you know, lesson learned on that. XOM just coming in quickly here as well. Hot hot today, obviously off earnings, but down 1.3%. And if you guys are wondering like why we're not sort of looking at some of these oil names, this is pretty much why. It's pretty flat into the day. So yeah, not much. Apparently Hassett is like saying right now that he is not upset at all that he got overpassed. What a surprise. I mean, imagine he was like, yeah, man, I'm really pissed off at Donald. I mean, you don't want to do that anymore. So that's for sure. But apparently he's really happy with Warsh. He's talking about how he can speak to exactly the right policies for, so anyways, just letting you know that that's the kind of talk right now. We can go over, and I did actually look at the dollar. I had it up there a couple days ago, and even yesterday, the DXY when we were looking at silver, and so we can do that again. Let me just go over to a 1-minute chart just to see what is going on. So it's a nice move higher right here for the US dollar today. Maybe this is something, I think this is about when it was announced, around 7 to 7:30 this morning, I believe, was the pick, and then there it goes straight to the upside. So
it's like around 6:50 a.m., between 6:50 and 6:55.
Exactly. So that's the exact move right there to the upside for the US dollar. So there we go on the US dollar. Let's just wait to see where that winds up going. But nice upside move there. And yeah, so that's nice. Finally, the US dollar needs to get a little bouncy with it. So Hassett talking now. So we can review that at some point. Apple, just quickly, another earnings name. We tried to buy SoFi near the lows. Obviously, this was a better name. I can't tell what the difference is. There's something on that one. Yeah, I just heard in my ear too about Roblox.
Yeah, so Adara's probably going to be scouring for the news right now if there is any, but Roblox just took a bit of a tilt down, $3, now 9% to the downside on Roblox. This is a flat bottom break on the daily as well on Roblox. A lot of the story recently when it's been dropping, has been related to, I guess, child safety concerns. And, not to rehash an old story, it could be that. Just speculation. We're going to go to Adara in a quick little second. But there is support at 6. Dude, that's all the way down at 62. That's like 10%.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to take this yet.
No, this is, I think there's going to be an opportunity in the stock. I'm just not sure we're there yet. We'll go to Adara once she has the story. Obviously, something going on negatively here for Roblox.
Well, it's not just Roblox, it's Unity as well. And so I'm seeing people on X attribute this move to the fact that apparently Google, as of yesterday, announced this Project Genie. I guess these demos are leading to a new worry for these gaming companies that if AI models can generate interactive worlds on an end-to-end basis, game engines could become less relevant over time. That is what I'm seeing here. And that's why Unity, and I'll show you guys Unity too. This is Roblox, but Unity certainly, actually, in some ways, looks more aggressive with the selling than Roblox and certainly more consistent. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing here. The only thing I'm seeing, and something I'm seeing a lot of on social media, again, are worries about what Project Genie from Google means for these companies going forward. Back to you.
It's like, you can't, honestly, you can't catch a break. Like when one of these multinational, multi-trillion-dollar names gets involved with your business, that is not a good look, man, at all. But I don't know, man. I don't know if Optimus is trading this Tesla stock or not and just hitting the buy key by accident, but it is just like, I don't know. It's off right now. We are almost $10. We're $7 right now in the money on this Tesla trade. It's a big one. So there it goes, man. We had a monster trade yesterday with AMD. We had $16 on that one. Now we have another 7 right here on Tesla as that just continues to absolutely rip North side up, rip faces off. Shout out to North Face, by the way, good brand. But there it goes. We'll see what happens now. 433 and change going upside now for Tesla. There we go.
Yeah, this market's doing absolutely nothing. And silver, which for all of the expectations with silver that it would be crazy today, it really hasn't. And it's actually holding out. Try to ignore the $8 at 8 o'clock. You have a lot of dark pool wicks. If you try to ignore those, which is all you can do, it has a very distinct from the pre-market 7 o'clock downward trend. And I hate to say it, and obviously you can break in either direction at this point, but right now that would be an all-day trend break if it gets and closes above 91 on the next 15-minute candle for Tesla. But IBIT still continuing to go down. I don't know if we'll get the reload at the top. But what I do have to look for now is there's your break, open, higher low, hold a VWAP or attempted hold, now the break of the trend line. So short under VWAP once this is confirmed to jump back into this bad boy. As the Nasdaq is giving you nothing. The ES is giving you nothing. The range, about 100 points on the Nasdaq. 25.8 on the NQ, 25.9 1/3 up at the top. So while we sit in a range-bound trade there, you got to be in things where they move. Like if you can grab top to bottom, fantastic. That's the best you can do, and then wait for the next opportunity. That's the kind of market we're in. So we're going to try to do that again on IBIT, only this time not the top, looking to short it with a lower high. I think it's 10.20 already, which does mean we have to go to the small cap recap with Adara.
A little bit past 10:20, guys, where I was trying to find some of these small cap movers, and I looked at the ones you guys were looking at in the chat. So all of these are going to be names that I saw pull up in our chat screener. Of course, shout out to Fabian as always. Let's talk about FEED. We were lucky to have CEO Doran Besser yesterday on the show live at 12:45 p.m. You can check that out during the midday yesterday. But either way here, FEED, this is now a day 3 move. On Wednesday morning, the company announces that they've signed a U.S. distribution agreement with UDeliver for over-the-counter reusable NFIT syringes. Then we've got USAR, obviously a little bit of a larger market cap name and certainly one that was on watch with U.S. government deals earlier this week, but they actually did have a catalyst today. Cantor Fitzgerald raising its price target to $35 for rare earths, our USA rare earths, from $28, maintaining that overweight rating. Now this obviously moving lower. I did see it though in our screener, so I wanted to bring this up. Global Interactive Technologies, I could not find any news on this. They has been halted to the downside, as you can see a couple times here. A couple days ago, announcing they acquired the master and global distribution rights to the official theme song for The Legend of Mega Race. So there has been some eyes on GITS, though, again, no catalyst for today for this one. Again, stuff I saw in the chat screen that I did want to mention to you guys. Thank you very much for putting those names in there. And please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content. Back to you.
What's that the theme music of? I'm sorry. You know, I also don't know what that is. I was just curious because like it started with Legends. I'm like, oh, maybe I know this. It's some kind of like a fantasy or nerd thing, but I have no idea what that might be. Uh-oh. All right, I think we've jinxed it. I mean, you can't go up forever. We got to report it. Feed broke $6 and rejected the $6 break and is now halted to the downside. It's still above the 5 on the daily.
Here we go.
There's that $5 level. It's still above that, but it's halted at $5.09 on FEED, indicating a 506 tap.
All right, man. Wow, we're $8 in the money on Tesla. We put our first silver trade on. We're $1 in the money on that silver trade off of VWAP. So yeah, man, the trading is happening now on SLV. So let's wait to see if we do get finally a little bit of a flush. I'm only out at 20% there, but that is a nice move. Let me take out another 5% right here if we can get in. Now, of course we can. So much liquidity, man. If you push bid, enter, or offer, enter, you're getting filled on silver right now. So lots of liquidity. We'll see if we can take down that day's low. But right now, here we go, man. It's another dollar. It's another one. And we're pretty happy to get that on board for you guys right there. So shout out to DJ Khalid right there. I'll put up another bid at 89. And then we'll try to let the rest go, man. We've said that we are going to try to see if we can hold something a little bit more. But hey, you know, we took the hit on SoFi. We have $9 now on Tesla. And you could see, man, this is like trading pretty aggressive. Right now, we'll see if silver does wind up holding this 89 area. Let's put a bid out right there. And then there's that break that we had written down on the note of $88. We'll see if that can come through. Maybe we'll add to this position on an $88 break. I mean, hopefully I get that option to do that. I mean, that means that we would have obviously a $3 winner, but let's wait to see what winds up. There it is. Come on, give me that 89. We're at 89.19. There it is. So we get that fill now. And there it is, man. $1. We're in the money now, almost $10 in total right now. But we are getting a little bit of a fade here on Tesla. Let's go over to Tesla here and get out a little bit more if we can right now. Tesla, all right, offer here. Let's go 432.52. Good play on this one, man. $8 there, $1 on silver. So far, so good. So, yeah, thank you, Mike P. DeRider, in the chat right there. I mean, I just hope that you guys are trying to at least look at some of this. Yeah, there it is. DJ Reese as well. Thank you so much for your comments in there. And then there it is, you know, one of our favorites here, Mr. DeRider there. Yeah, thank you so much for all of that right there. Sean Booming, and then here we go. Mike, I can't, oh, there it is. Slaying as usual. Yeah, sometimes that's what happens, but there we go. Nice move down there. Thank you so much to everybody for supporting these positions and hopefully having a good time there with us. But I do have an offer at 434 on Tesla, so that'll give us $10. Hopefully that can hit, and Almost, but we're almost out of this trade anyways, man. We have about 10% left or so. About 10% left of our position. So far so good there. Hassett's now done speaking. He was talking about strong dollar, which obviously has sort of helped the silver short. We can just quickly, we're going to go to Adara for the comment.
Anytime he says strong dollar, all you see is Bitcoin and the metals go down. Every time.
I was going to mention those comments on the dollar that Sean just alluded to. Yeah, basically just saying there's a lot of good reasons to want a strong dollar, and the strong dollar is the Treasury's policy. He also was mentioning here these legal issues with the Fed, which, by the way, are actually the reason that even certain Republicans said they're not going to be voting to confirm Kevin Warsh until these issues are resolved. Hassan's saying these issues should be resolved quickly, and that the Trump White House wants Warsh confirmed quickly. So again, for Warsh to be confirmed quickly, as I've mentioned, that depends, at least for some people, on there being a resolution to this probe. So we're gonna have to wait and see, but interesting comments coming from Hassett with regards to the dollar and with regards to the Fed confirmation process. Back to you.
And back to the lows we go. So we didn't get the highs. Obviously, it would be nice to have found the reload there, but the trend break on IBIT was right at the volume weighted average price. We're right back into the low of the day. This is obviously not. Look, I'll go to a daily chart for you. This is obviously not looking good for Bitcoin, but there is still the November low at about 46 on IBIT, which I think is like, 80 something. Here, I'll go to spot prices to give you, because some people might be actually looking at Bitcoin instead of IBIT. It's up to you. We're always looking at Bitcoin. That's spot 80,000. Yeah, it is 80K. So if we get to 80K, it's about 80 and a half. So if you drop beneath 81, that's an obvious exit point and a potential bounce spot in here today. But the second short, now I'm gonna hold for the break of the low and then just go mean reversion. So the second it breaks the trend, I wanna jump out. And that's just about having like a plan of action. I wanna be short, you wait for your level. It was like WBD. Like it broke the trend line,
board again?
So we jump in. It doesn't really go, like it goes halfway for the move. I elect not to reload at the volume weighted average price because it never shows me strength. And then we dip out just underneath the volume weighted average price. So we stay up on it, that kind of a thing. And I wait for the next opportunity in that stock. Maybe it comes like it did for IBIT, maybe it doesn't. But you gotta be willing to stick to your plan of action. So good start to the day, there's no question about that. And oh my goodness, SNDK could break 600.
No. Well, I mean, yes. I mean,
well,
I don't,
look, I'm not.
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, I've been thinking it was going to sell for a very long time, and no, but I think this is still in the profit-taking realm because all you've done, you gapped up. It's now filled in the gap to the aftermarket levels, so it's still more in the hey, people are taking profits more than it's falling apart. It probably needs to lose even the 590 in here before you'd start thinking this is absolute doom and gloom. Like again, blowout quarter, but. I don't care how good your earnings are if you've literally I mean, it depends on where you start looking for them, but you're up, what, it was 230% or something since the beginning of January, or whatever that works out to, 240 to over $600. It's completely insane. It does matter how far you've traveled going in, as big as the earnings were. And there's strong arguments, you had an upgrade today as well, that there's more growth potential here. Like if they do this, like NVIDIA did this for a few quarters in a row when they had this kind of a moment. If SNDK were to pull this off next quarter, then anybody that's thinking short is obviously wrong about it. But for today, profit taking on SNDK, and it seems wise to me.
Yeah, so we were able to get out at 434 on Tesla. The high looks like it's gonna be 435. So we take another piece out, and now we have like under 5% left of this trade. So downside now for Tesla, just trying to break. I mean, that's that 21 period. So we've talked about, getting some out as we break that level. So I'll take a piece out right now and just hold the rest for 429. I mean, even a 429 break is still $5. So I think that we're doing pretty good on that one. So let's put that in right now. And look, if it breaks it, it breaks it. That to be exact, we can even go to VWAP. We have very little left. So let's go 427.99, and it would suck to lose it, obviously, as we get lower, but okay. We'll give it a second right there. But all right, so that's Tesla. SoFi, man, was been a really like, we used to have a throw up emoji, but I don't know where, I mean, we already tried it on that break. I am like down to try that again. On this 21 period break. Like it's been a good indicator. Like I've back tested this. This is not just something that, that's why it's on my charts. It's not. And we always say, like, if you lose because something doesn't work, that's a lot different than just losing because you don't have any idea what you're doing. I feel comfortable, obviously on the desk. It's literally what I'm doing here. But for 23, I mean, trying to do my best to host, but hopefully we're doing a good job on that. But for me, trading is where it's at. 23.40 right there. So if we do break that level, let's try to go a little long, and then we can even just use, like I was thinking about, a prior bar 5 minute. So that would be sort of that same level of 23.20. So we'd have to take enough shares that, understanding that we would lose about 10 cents again, like if that does break and does not continue to go on, then I think, a retest of the lows. So it's a little bit of a different strategy. I'd like to try to play the long back upside rather than try to catch falling knives, right? And so that's what we did right there. It worked a little bit until it didn't, and then we just eventually just in and out there for a couple pennies, even for a loss. And now we're gonna try to see if it can break upside right now. That is 23.42 or so. I'm pretty comfortable. I think we're gonna try that and give it about 20 cents or so and see what winds up happening on that play. But yeah, silver, good couple outs, man. Our best out was right there, 89.20. And now that, it was Hassett or Warsh, I can't remember, that was just talking. I think it was Hassett. Now that he's done, maybe we could see this move back up to the upside because he was talking strong dollar. So that would be something to look for in that trade. And then, yeah, SoFi, just until it breaks that level, I'm just going to keep on watching it. That might not be the right trade. We got a super, by the way, silver now down again, so it's still that dollar now. We had a super chat earlier about JP Morgan saying.
We got another one about.
Do we? Okay, we can throw it up.
If we, I'm not on the page. I'll get it up. It's fine.
Okay, there it is.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Adam, yeah, I think you and I are alike on this talk, right? I mean, I think that we do need to see a hold here for SoFi. So let's see if it does hold. And you're talking about a key level on the daily, maybe, Neil? I don't know.
It's the 200 period, but
right there.
It's not.
It's close.
It's close. We're not necessarily there yet, but
real close. The
distinction without a difference. Look, it is a level that needs to hold, but if we're just, my goodness, that stupid SNDK chart. I still have that weekly up. Here, that's just, it breaks your brain when you look at that one. If you look at it on the weekly, if we go another step further on SoFi, if we did dip down to 21 on a weekly chart, this is actually the next big level, would be a little bit lower from here. Look at the consolidation on the weekly at about $21 to $22, and then you have like wick bottoms down here. So there's a stronger level, in my opinion, on the higher time frame, a little bit lower. And SoFi does this on earnings, where you get the dip. This is not uncommon for the stocks. I don't think we should be overreacting here with SoFi. And I get it. It doesn't look very good. For the day, it is a bit of a critical level. This is how, let me look. That's not very clean trend. Let me look at the 15. The 15 minutes not even giving me reversion vibes yet. That's pretty heavy. It's not even setting up on the 15 for a reversion that I would like. Absolutely nasty. But we just ran off the lows. I have to decide if I want to reload IBIT again. We just ran off the lows. It's been putting in lower highs the entire way through on the 15-minute like this. So it's either, oh, there we go. Actually just got the fill on that same trend line on the 15. You guys just saw it live, so position board is working. Now that I'm literally double checking every single time.
Yeah, I'm long.
Like I get a fill just to make sure that it's actually showing up. So on the trend, we're back in. I did not take it this time on the 15-minute, but we're in for the third time. It'll be about the 20 mark that I jump out of IBIT. So yeah, the market's trying to bounce, but still an inside day for the market. Like all that's happening is we're making slightly lower highs and slightly lower lows. Bitcoin's doing exactly the same thing.
Yeah, we might have to slow down a little bit here because, the market's heading to the upside right now. I'm trying to get a little bit more silver up here. Obviously, we've gotten out of a piece, so we can sort of try to maybe let's reload a little bit here at 58. Oh, we just missed. That was me that just put some offers at 58 there, and obviously, oh, it's being pushed. So this is being, right now, this is being pushed down. Look at this. There's definitely programs on here that are layering bids and offers. Like that just all of a sudden showed up at 58. They got it to go down a little bit. Now they're removing
it on Bitcoin too.
Yeah, so maybe some algos going off here a little bit. I'm not sure, but that was a little interesting there.
Was it like 80? It was like 8,800 on multiple gateways. Was that the number?
Yeah. Well, now it's like looks like it's 5,800, but these guys are getting filled. Like it's very difficult to see actually if the fills are coming through on this or not. I don't actually see any thousands of shares. See 55, 58, 56. You see what I'm saying? They're all right here, but they're not actually getting. Some of them are, I guess, are getting filled, and I just can't see it fast. And there's a bunch. They just wiped whoever that was out, man. Someone is short a shit ton of shares right now on SLV. That's about all I can tell you. Or it was bids getting out. I shouldn't say. I don't know if it's a short or I don't know what it is, but right there's a lot of size getting pushed around right now on SLV. That is for sure.
And for the record, you don't always like to see that. Like if you're in a short that's working, I don't want to see that person layering down in, because what happens is they might push it down for a bit, but if they get filled, that's bad, because then they're getting lit up and it could head back into the upside. So the second I saw that happening, it was the same moment. We got that trend coming in, so I short that top. Immediately at the even dollar, it stopped. It stopped right at the even dollar, now starts heading back up. So I'm not reloading it while there's games being played. But it also could, you're right, like if both these names are going to react to the dollar and the index. So there's always a chance that you just have some algo, which is like pairs trading. And oftentimes how the pairs trading will happen with the algos is they'll be sitting trying to capture like outsized moves. So they might be away from the book on both Bitcoin and silver, and then doing something similar on like Dixie or something.
Right.
Just waiting to get these outlier fills because they have some weird hedge thing that they're, or maybe it could even be some kind of an algo that's just trying to scalp inefficiencies. But it was simultaneous. The second you saw that push down silver, I saw exactly the same thing on BTC. Would be interesting to see if it was happening in the dollar as well. But I don't like it when they do it, because it just mucks up the technicals. Like if you're trading on a trend line, that issue is irrelevant if someone's gaming the stock.
Yeah, no, that's why when we look at that, it's I like it, and you're not going to, honestly, man, you're not going to push around silver with any size. Anyways, it's not something that I don't think is very pushable.
I think it was an arbitrage thing.
Yeah, like I said, it could have, and also it could have been someone that was short, long, getting out of their positioning. Who knows? But yeah, AMD downside play pretty aggressive there today. It looks like it's trying to get back up. I just heard something in my ear, Adara, about Wells Fargo and AMD. I think something about their RAM business.
Wells Fargo is just saying buy on weakness. That's all I'm seeing. Yeah.
Okay, so there it goes. Thanks, Adara, for that one. Buy on weakness. So I think that makes a little bit of sense. I mean, we've seen stocks like NVIDIA. It's already 1040, by the way. Like that is blowing my mind how fast today went, to be completely honest with you. We are, as you guys all heard, we're going to be going to Adara very shortly with Sector Watch. The newest position for me, Tesla's still working, man. Tesla's $10 in the money right now. Like that's the alert trade. Thanks, Sharif, for that one on the side there. I just heard Sharif go, oh. Like before, it was like, ooh. But there it goes. So that's a trade there. SoFi, now we're back into that one. Just going to use this. I was saying like prior bars and stuff. So if we break, I was going to use prior bar 5 minute, which would be 21 break. But we haven't done very well on SoFi here today. So yeah, let's just keep it pretty tight on this one. And if it does break, maybe even below this 21 period again, then we can maybe think about getting out. I do hear the crutches being worked on in the back, so Joe's getting ready to go. We have 20 more minutes before we hit it off right now on the midday show. We're excited for everything that we've been bringing you today, including Adara's update, which is happening right now.
Itself is not happening now, as we know this is actually going to be sector watch, and a lot of these sectors are pretty weak. Lots of weakness here in electronic technology. AMD down 3%, though. Again, as we mentioned, we do have Wells Fargo saying buy on weakness. KLAC down in a big way here on earnings day one. You've got Seagate likely moving lower here in sympathy with Western Digital, and SanDisk, which again has given up a lot of that earnings gap. Tech services, a lot of flat names, but then you've got App11 down 8%, Meta down 2%, PLTR down 1.5%. Retail trade has some weakness as well. Carvana down 4% again as people continue to digest that short report we had on Wednesday. Costco to the downside, consumer services right across the board. Health services weak, non-energy minerals weak, of course, with these miners, including Newmont Gold, these gold plays trading lower on some of this give back in the metal space. Industrial services, transportation, producer manufacturing, with a notable exception of GEV on a day 3 earnings move to the upside. But guys, it's hard to find a really strong sector. The one notable exception, of course, would be communications. All of these names up at least 2% each. T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon after Verizon's earnings report. Back to you.
Yeah, remember I said I don't like when someone's pushing around the stock, so tighten up the stop, didn't reload. I'll wait for it to look normal on IBIT and resume this downtrend. Maybe even get underneath the volume weighted average price, because there's no reason, I'm not gonna go red when it doesn't make any sense. And if there's something going on that's fishy, then I'll just stay away from it. But on the other hand, when it comes to fishy, that Intel's trying to get back up. And I know my note, I said 49.25 for short, then proceeded to short it at yesterday's highs instead of the highs from Wednesday. It is trying to get back up there. So I think the next opportunity for me is going to be a test of that 49.25 zone over on Intel. So it's trying to get there now. It's pressing higher, looking pretty good. I mean, Palantir is bouncing. The market's back up at the highs. You want to take stock. This is a moment where we're right back up at the top. Well, what's not at the high? Apple's still kind of languishing on the lows. That makes a little bit of sense because, okay, well, it doesn't make sense relative to the report, but the reaction to the report was to sell it, so it kind of makes sense. NVIDIA is breaking out and leading the way to a certain extent, and then you look over at AMD. AMD gets a pass for being where it is. To me, this still means AMD is kind of up because it had that drop in the pre-market, but it's at the actual opening range high. So relative weakness still pretty much just in Apple, I would say, out of the Mag 7 names. Haven't really looked at Meta. I have a weird assumption that Meta was doing okay, but I guess it's not. Meta's down a couple of points. But more importantly, like SNDK, it's still more in the profit-taking range than dropping out. It has to lose $710. And then you get worried. The same way SNDK would have to lose 590 for you to be concerned that it's anything more than profit taking on a gap. I feel the same way about Meta.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I'm just in the positions right now. So yeah, look, we've been, the number one stock for me today will be silver, just because we haven't taken an L on it yet. And you know, knock on wood, maybe we should, you know, but you know what, we're always, taking an L on something is fine. It's like we already know where we're getting out. This is a VWAP. We already just tagged our good friend Brian Shannon. There, go follow me on Twitter for all these plays. But you know, that's we're looking lower now. So I'm bidding 30s. No, I'm bidding 25s. Hopefully, of course, it just bounces off. There it is. So good. So now we'll see and then right back up to 40. So just trying to get out a little bit ahead of 90 there. That is that 21 period moving average. So we'll try to empty out a little bit. This is going to be obviously PL1 as we, you know, continue to talk about that for myself right now. But let's see if we can continue to go downside right now on silver. And yeah. Tesla, yesterday, 15, 16 on AMD. Today, 12 right here on Tesla. So that's going to be a good one, man. And it just continues to climb higher through 436 now. There goes Tesla, man. What goes boom? Tesla go boom. What goes down and bad for your boy today? SoFi. We've been trying to catch this one. And it's like, the report I feel like is good, man, and we just keep on breaking these levels. It goes up for me. Here it goes up. There it goes up, and then it just comes right back down. So absolutely no, let's go silver. No follow through at all here on SoFi. So out at the day's low, man, and then we hang up our gloves there and stop fighting with SoFi. All right, another bid out here. We'll bid 27s. There's another out on SLV. Let's see if this one can really bleed to the downside here. I'm still waiting for it to lose that 88 mark. And if we do that, then there we go. But yeah, man, Neil, this Tesla trade just like keeps on working. We had that optimist talk, and it's just working out there. Day 2 off earnings. There goes Tesla finally.
Yeah, Tesla, it's not about optimists today, I don't think. This is about...
No, it's about,
this is about
SpaceX.
Jinx. It is about SpaceX today because I still think Destiny should be going down. Like, why would you need to invest in Destiny and be, or let's just say, overvaluing?
Right.
It's just overvalued. It's priced like 2 times what it's worth based on book value. Every time there's another funding round that just gets reaffirmed. So I just feel like if there's another vehicle to have some kind of potential ownership in SpaceX, people are going to take it. And then if you already like Tesla, it's more reason to do so. So silver, it's on the 15. I said wait for a 15-minute reversion. It hasn't happened yet. But oddly enough, it will end up being, as I said a couple minutes ago, probably a long one. Because the downward trend from the high is here on SLV. Like the biggest candles are obviously off of the open. But once we get this trend break on the 15, I'll jump in. That's all I'm going to wait for on silver. I've only taken one trade in silver for the last 3 days. It's like one time, one time, one time. So I'm waiting for that 1 15-minute reversion. It hasn't failed yet. So being patient is what it's going to be about. It has to set up the way I like it. I feel like that's the path toward consistency, is to know what you're looking for and then just only execute when it does happen.
Yeah, I'm your Huckleberry today on silver, guys. I'm taking a line from Neil there. We are now $1.20 in the money off such a clean trade on silver, man. There's VWAP. You know, I mean, we can't, you know, we literally talk about VWAP all the time. So there's the move down, nice move into 89.50, big, huge move on silver. It is P&L number one today, like not even close. I wish I had more shares, obviously, on this Tesla trade, because like this one should be the big one for me. It's now $14 now in the money over there. So yeah, man, we be wilding out. That is for sure right now. So thanks to everybody for all your support today. It's been a good one. Look at Tesla, man, 439 and just rip city right there. So right now we're sitting in $16. Right now, we're sitting in $1.30 on SLV, and we're sitting on 14 right there on Tesla. And then the garbage of the day for me is going to be SoFi, as that just keeps on bleeding down, 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 down. Yeah, exactly. Get it, Adara, but we just keep on going to the downside right there. So yeah, man, with only 10 minutes left, we'll get what's for lunch coming up very, very soon on a Friday. Hopefully it's something decent. Let's see if SoFi can really battle back, man. This could be a monster day if it can do it, but I don't know. We just keep on bleeding out our P&L here on SOFI. So yeah, it's driving me nuts right there. But silver's been really good. Continues to make that move. I'm still waiting for that 80. Well, I guess it's 88 break, but 89 break would be real nice. These bottom wicks, man, maybe let's get another piece out now, and then just wait to see what happens next. We'll bid some 75s here. Hopefully we get there it is. We get one more move down, and now we can be hands off. I have about half left, maybe a little less than half left now on this trade, so let's give it a second. But SoFi is going to break the lows again, and there it goes.
Before we go to Adara?
Yeah, sure.
Ari Pages just asked, first of all, T.416. 416. Why did I say 416? Obviously, you mean the 416. Shout out to you. You must be from Toronto. Saying Tesla levels, please. I don't know if you saw that, but they're asking me. I'm not trading Tesla right now. But I can say, Ari Pages, can we do a top 10 traders check for yesterday? Probably some silver prints. We'll find out. That'll be on the Amex. So I haven't looked today. This will be the first time. Oh, lo and behold. Shocker. Number one, top traders today by market. This, of course, is yesterday, not today.
Oh, man, that's my job.
42 on, well, Ari just asked. Ari
Yeah.
142 is the top trader. TSX comes in number 2 at 30K. The CSE, so that's going to be Canada again at 7. And this is just by market. If you go and scroll down, there you go. Now it's the top individual traders. Amex, Nasdaq, Amex, Nasdaq, Amex, Nasdaq, Amex, Nasdaq, Amex, Nasdaq. All of these numbers, and it's just presumably silver because that's the Amex, right? Like it's overwhelming chance that that's what they're trading and it's going to be nothing else. And then you have TSX. Someone did well on the TSX yesterday for 30. And then all of the other names, Amex. So 9 out of 10 were trading on the Amex, a little bit of Nasdaq in there, and then a lone trader in the TSX. No blue ocean.
Yeah, strange.
Yeah, it's, you know what, when we get big earnings, I usually expect to see, especially overnight with
147,000.
No, I expect to see a little bit of like somebody on the blue ocean as well. But silver is where it obviously has been for traders.
Like that would be a great year, 147,000. Some guy does it yesterday. Absolutely unbelievable. What a business we're in, man. I mean, you know, you could sit here and collect dimes and nickels, or you can collect dollars. That guy is wow.
As long as you collect,
that guy is
that's what matters.
Yeah, to some extent. I mean, you want to make enough that you can have a living, obviously. And but there we go. Okay.
Build first and then grow. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but if you're going to be a successful trader, you need to hopefully, if it's going to be your day job, that 147,000, like that's That's huge, man. Take a vacation, or just don't lose it all. That's the suggestion, right? I mean, because you can make money and then give it back very,
well, especially if it's on a strategy. Like silver has obviously been going crazy for a little bit, but it doesn't always trade like this.
Yeah, we don't know if that's an SL.
So it's one. Let's operate on the assumption that it is. So if it's something that's like it lasts for like a few weeks or a few months when it's going crazy and then it's gone because it doesn't always trade that way, and then you float from trades like that to other opportunities that are like that, then you know there's gonna be one little pocket where you make most of your year. We've had traders like that on the floor as well. I mean, I remember Arun was an example of that. And what he would do is he would bank some of it, not to call it Arun, but it's something he used to do. He would bank that profit. Like he wouldn't spend it, he wouldn't celebrate it, he would bank that knowing that whenever what he's doing is not gonna work, he makes sure he saves on it. I think that's one thing that you wanna be able to do. I know we were just going over tip because Ari Page is asked, but we are gonna go to Adara, or I believe, we already did Sector Watch, so it's gotta be.
It's Money Talks.
Money Talks.
Let's talk about the US dollar, and it's funny, I mean, obviously PPI on watch with that being hotter than expected across the board for December. That is every single print warmer than we were expecting, but that's not even really the biggest thing I think we've been discussing here with the US dollar. It's pretty much been, I mean, some commentary, of course, from Hassett, but speaking of Hassett, the man that beat him for that Fed chair nomination from U.S. President Trump, Kevin Warsh, that's really been on watch today, guys. As I mentioned, this being posted by Trump on Truth Social around 6:50, 6:55 a.m. So pretty early on here in the day. And it's interesting, we didn't get too much of a change here with these Fed rates. We still have about 86% of participants expecting that rates will be held in place at the next meeting, 13.3% expecting a cut. Now, why is this going to be pretty significant? I think obviously we do have this expectation, and Trump has actually said this outright in his social post, that he wants someone on the Fed who's going to be more likely to cut rates. Now, Stanley Druckenmiller, after this pick was announced, actually addressed this in an interview, I believe, with the Financial Times, saying that Kevin Warsh is often viewed as a hawk, but that's not always the case. He does have a pretty conservative stance on monetary policy, but as Druckenmiller says, he's seen Warsh go both ways on the votes. So, I mean, I have this infographic as an X at TTV Research. I reposted it this morning when the picks come out. I mean, Trump has been saying since 2020 that he wished he picked Warsh over Powell, so this should not be that shocking. I'm going to do a more in-depth infographic just on Warsh's history, but I mean, he was in investment banking. Prior to being a Federal Reserve governor, he was considered a close confidant to then Fed Chair Bernanke during the 2008 financial crisis, so he does have the bona fides. He also has international experience as well with banks, so nice look there for Kevin Warsh. There will be, again, a little resume for Kevin Warsh, a CV, if you will, posted on X and TTV Research later today. Back to you.
Something like that.
Always a friend.
I know nothing set up for my man over here on the right, but wow, Silver. Oh my. Monster trade here, man. I mean, now we're just like, look, SoFi is going to be a complete dumpster fire for me, but this is going to be the trade, man. And we had, all we done is sort of just trade our spot, and it was just trying to figure this all out. But there goes Silver, now breaking 89. Sharif, it is an absolute monster right there for SLV today. As we, thank you, my guy, really appreciate that one. As it is downside right now, bleed, bleed, bleed. We are now $2 in the money, and I feel, you know, I'm just cheering on the position. Oh, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. You stopped? But yeah, I really appreciate that one as we're trying to add some energy here. But we do have lunchtime, Neil, so let's go over and figure out what is for lunch. I actually don't have it up right now, but we will get that going. What was it yesterday? It was... you didn't prefer it, I don't think, right?
It was like a beef, what was it called again? It was a
pot pie, beef pot pie. Okay, so now I've got it up right here.
Shepherd's pie.
It is Friday. I'm out of here. It is garlic Cajun tilapia. I almost gave it up there. With roasted seasoned, I'm on the salmon side.
The last time we had the tilapia was actually delicious. I'm just being real. It's
yeah, that's fine. But tilapia has been garbage.
25 times.
Yeah, exactly. And this time it's Cajun, and the Cajun's been a disaster.
It's the teriyaki that they do.
Yeah, the teriyaki sashimi was very bad. We had roasted seasoned vegetables today with vegetable couscous and chef's choice salad. But I am a salmon guy now. So hopefully, I don't think I can ever eat tilapia again from this place. Just honestly, it's been such a bad run of it, but it was good last time.
I think they might have heard the complaints last time, is my guess.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, nothing wrong with giving people a second chance. That is for sure. We're all about that, especially as fathers. But okay.
Well, that's a different story.
Nice move down there.
Choice as a parent.
Yeah. Nice move down there. A silver, man. This is going to be the trade for me. I'm going to go to the gym. Hopefully, when we come back, silver is absolutely cranked through that $88 marker. I'm still going to go shorter if it does come back up here into 91, but we've got to get out a little bit here in case there is a bounce on SLV. I mean, down 16%, still pretty dangerous right there. That stock is so dangerous. All right, let me see, gold's not really doing anything. Let's check out the dollar quickly, and then we'll throw it back, and then we get out of here. The DXY right now, kind of just hovering around a little bit. As this starts to go to the upside, we've seen a correlation between a strong dollar and potentially weak on silver. But right now, this has kind of just like basically been barcoding here for about an hour. So that's not doing its thing. It's silver that's doing its own damn thing right now, and it's a nice downside push. So there goes silver, there goes the DXY, and other than that, man, not much else going on right there. Yeah, the Canadian economy, that's funny, Jay Dizzle. Canadian economy not growing, and we get tilapia every day. Yeah, it's a rough one around here. All right, 437 breaking. You like that, eh, Sharif? 436. Let's get out of Tesla if it breaks this, right? So look, we'll get out maybe a 436 break or so. Small piece left there on TSLA, but hey, man, we'll leave you $16 in the money on these two trades. SLV's the big one for me today as it continues its march lower. It's silver. It's 1058. Another piece out now. We'll get a piece out at 88. Hopefully it breaks, and then we can see where we go from there. SLV.
Yes, sir. The chat is absolutely hilarious.
It's always the best.
You guys are the best. It's not the end of the world. It's not the worst thing. You can do worse than getting a catered lunch every single day. We just try to have fun with it. Certainly appreciative of the fact that we get a lunch, which it's consistent. We don't have to do anything. You don't have to go out and grab it. You don't have to bring anything in. So it's fantastic here. It's hilarious how much tilapia we're getting, because I promise you this, nobody here has probably even had tilapia until we started getting it once a month or once a week with the caterer. Is what it is, like I said.
Yeah,
we got another one. Oh, okay, this is super chat about tilapia.
Yeah, it's a gross
comment.
fish.
A comment. Yeah, I know, you guys have said this before. They eat the crap from the bottom, blah, blah, blah. And
fish, right? So shrimp is same similar thing.
The most expensive coffee in the world. What's that stuff where it's just they feed it to the cats, and then the cats crap out the beans, and then I forget
Thailand.
But I forget the name of the coffee.
Yeah,
whatever. It is from Thailand, but people pay a ridiculous amount, and it's coming out the pooper of a cat, and that's what makes it cool. So to each their own. I forget what it's called. Copy Luwak? I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, it's something.
I also do like Blue Mountain. Clover Solo, you must be Jamaican. Blue Mountain coffee from Jamaica is absolutely delicious.
Yeah, that's great. All right, man. Only 30 seconds left. It's hopefully going to be something special there. The midday show is going to be an absolute great one. We didn't talk too much about SNDK, but that one has been a downside play today. Although it's only down 10% from its highs, it's still up 13 on the day. This is going to be a good break, man. What about 600? We just held 600 on SNDK, so hopefully the boys will definitely have a look over there. They'll be going over some small cap runners as well. So, get ready, man. It is the midday show. It should be a good one with Sharif and Joe. Seconds left. Thank you, everybody. We'll give you an update on what the tilapia tastes and looks like very, very soon. So get ready for that one. It's 11 o'clock. We're getting ready to go. SLV, wait for that 88 break.
Let's go.
Midday. Now.